Schedule your air conditioner service. Get not just your AC, but your entire HVAC system checked for $19 a month with the Preferred Partner Plan. And be ready for the first heat wave. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
To speculate on what that choice will be, because I trust him.
It's always a pleasure having you on the show.
It's my pleasure.
You're a diplomat these days, a real classic.
Well, it's easy to do with President Trump because he's transparent, he's clear, and he gets the job done. It's exactly the right man at the right time.
Got it.
Tammy Bruce speaking on Fox Business there. Just kind of a blanket statement there about trusting Donald Trump. And that is our question to you today on the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. And also a reminder, you can always text us your thoughts on the poll, and we will feature those throughout the course of the show. The poll, do you trust President Trump? There's a lot of different ways to ask a question like this, and there are a lot of different things that we could be talking about specifically. Do you trust him on the Iran war? We were talking a little bit before the show off air about how, you hear people right now kind of saying, well, when's it going to end? When's it going to end? People are in a hurry to get this thing done. I actually am one of those people. We're watching on Fox News just a few minutes ago the dignified transfer of those 6 members who died in that collision between those refueling planes. Not friendly fire, not enemy fire, but operational hazard that cost the lives of 6 of our service members. I see those 6 service members and I know they have families. They have families of their own. They have parents. They have sisters and brothers and grandmas and grandpas. And those faces are now part of history because of this conflict. And you have to understand, I know that I am certainly coming to grips with, once again, every time I see the story pop up, that these people are the cost of the conflict that we're in right now. Harris Faulkner just said it, and I think this is an incredible way to position it. It's hard to look at these faces and know these names and feel like we're winning anything, but you can definitely look at the other side and know that they are losing. And that is a somber way to look at what this war is bearing out. The only way to stomach seeing these young men and women who have passed away so far serving their country, the only way to stomach it is to understand that they signed up. They put their name on a line, and they put their life on a line for you and for me. And we have to do one of 2 things. Trust that President Trump understands what's at stake, that with all of the information that he's provided, with all the intelligence that his staff that he has appointed, that has been approved, that they have assimilated into a decision-making process like this, that what he is doing is what is best for the United States of America. I'm constantly asking myself about that idea of trusting government, because I can certainly tell you during the Joe Biden administration, I would trust the exact opposite to be true of what the Biden administration was telling me. Principally, at a foundational level, the principles of the Biden administration and the Democrat Party that was driving that administration, their foundational principles they're not the same as mine. The things that they were trying to grow, that they were trying to protect, that they are trying to suppress. I'm trying to think of an instance where we did a line, we ran a parallel race, and it feels as though we were constantly at opposition. What they decided was a priority for American investment, taxpayer dollars, time, money, effort, always in direct opposition from what I would want to see our administration do. And I look at what President Trump has said going into his administration in his campaign for his second term in 2024. And just over and over and over again, he's saying things that happen to align with exactly the principles, the foundational elements that in my mind, from my perspective, are the things that matter to me as an American citizen that has a reasonable grasp on American history. I feel as though President Trump's goals align with my goals. And I have to say, they still do. There's a lot. We talked yesterday with Larry Alex Taunton. I really encourage you to check out the podcast of yesterday's show. Brad, on the Odyssey app, AUDACY for people who haven't downloaded it yet. On the Odyssey app, people can stream the show right now, correct?
Yeah, they can live stream the show right now.
But they also, so you can follow 97.1 FM Talk. You can also follow the Annie Fry Show, correct?
Yes, yeah.
So you can listen to 3 hours of the show. Or you can go back and listen to yesterday's interview, right?
For sure.
Just
For
like
sure.
little slices of the show. So you can eat the whole thing, or you can do the buffet and say, oh, I wanted to hear Senator Schmidt from yesterday and Larry Alex Taunton talking about Tucker Carlson. And then you go about your day and you listen to your other podcast, or you stream Mark Reardon Show, or whatever it might be. We have to understand that old Reagan adage of trust but verify. When I think back to my conversation yesterday with Larry Alex Taunton about Tucker Carlson, and then it kind of spawns into a lot of the people who are trying to be thought leaders and influencers in like the lowercase I, but probably also the capital I capacity. When I'm thinking about these people who are trying to direct your thought and your perspective into one direction, you got to trust but verify those people as well. And if they start to lose your trust, that's fine. You have to be constantly, repetitively discerning, because your thought matters as much as theirs does. I don't believe that Donald Trump's principles have changed. I believe that America First is Donald Trump's goal today as much as it has been any other day that he has been vying to be the president of the United States or in the presidency of the United States. If you set aside anything that President Trump has done in this administration towards Iran, negotiations, talks, sanctions, political isolation, and bombs. If you take all of that stuff and set it aside, and you reflect on what every other presidency, at least in my time, and I'm 41 years old, every presidency has had to deal with Iran. They've all had to figure out, how are we going to handle this problem? You don't get into the presidency and, administration after administration after administration. You don't get in there and then everybody every time thinks like, gosh, what are we going to, I'll just pick on Ireland since yesterday was St. Patrick's Day. How are we going to deal with Ireland? What's our position? What's our administration going to do about the problem of Ireland? You don't have to do that, because Ireland isn't threatening us and yelling death to America at every turn. But Iran is. They have been. And they've killed Americans. They have funded people who have brutally killed Americans. And it's always been happening. I keep hearing about the Iran hostage situation. Yes, for some of you, it might be sad to hear that happened before my time, but I am aware of it. I'm a Reagan baby, so I wasn't there when Jimmy Carter was the president, but I heard that didn't go so well. I'm under the impression that every time an administration gets in there and tries to deal with Iran, it doesn't solve the problem. And what Iran does is they just wait for the next guy to show up. Well, Donald Trump showed back up, and he had already been there to see what Iran was going to act like. And he has already watched Joe Biden, his bookends of his first term, and Barack Obama try to appease and, sit down, let me rub your shoulders a little bit. Let's see if we can work something out. You know what Donald Trump did? He still tried to work something out. He didn't Lindsey Graham cannonball into Iran. He tried to work things out. And while he was sitting at the table with them through his delegates, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, among other people, they were bragging about how they had the capacity of 11 nuclear bombs. Why would they brag about that to America? So, this whole thing is not about Joe Kent of, is he from Washington? In my brain says Washington.
Yeah, Washington.
This is not all about Joe Kent from Washington. This is all about trust but verify. which means you can trust that Donald Trump knows what he's doing. You can trust that Donald Trump might just know a little bit more than Annie Fry sitting in St. Louis, or might just know a little bit more than Joe Smith sitting in Fenton, or Sally Mae sitting in Alton right now. He might have a little more intelligence, a little more information on the situation, and he might be keenly aware of what kind of threats do and don't exist, especially now. You know who you can't trust ever? The people who lambasted Joe Kent as a Trump appointee, and who are now lauding him because he's a turncoat to the administration. That's the way they see him. They do it over and over and over again. I can't turn on CNN, which, I wish that I couldn't physically turn on CNN, but here we are. I can't turn on CNN without Marjorie Taylor Greene showing up on the screen, because she's the love interest of CNN and MSNBC and The View right now. They love her. And the only reason they love her is because she now publicly criticizes Donald Trump. It's the only thing that matters. How can you trust anybody whose compass is driven by that? Because it will never point the same direction. If the wind changes tomorrow, they will head in an entirely different direction because Donald Trump said so. What kind of power are they really giving this one man who they hate so much? The YouTube poll for today is, do you trust President Trump? Because at the end of the day, he's the president of the United States. It does not matter if you trust him now or if you don't. He's still the president. He was still elected by a majority of the voters. He had quite a mandate going into his third time of running for office. He's increased his vote total, and the support that he was given was a clear mandate saying, Kamala Harris, you can take a seat. We're going to give this back to Donald Trump, a better known quantity than what we had with Vice President Kamala Harris. We're going to give him a shot. He still answers to the American people every day that he serves. He serves us. And I'm here to say I still trust him. That doesn't mean that I'm not still here looking every morning when I wake up to look at the alerts on my phone, hoping that the news is out that we're done in Iran. You can simultaneously trust the president to know what he's doing and want every second for this war to be done. That's where I am. And wanting that and praying for an end to what is taking place in Iran. Listen, if they do the job correctly in Iran, it will ripple out into the entire world. The whole table gets reset. And it's only because one man who ran for office 3 times, won the will of the American people, had been in there for 4 years where he was subverted at every single possible turn before he even got into the Oval Office. Because when he got back there, he knew what actually had to be done if you're actually there to solve problems, not just make people believe that the other people are the responsibility of the problems. That's politics. What Donald Trump is doing is policy, and it has the power to change the course of history. Do you trust him? It's the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. Now, of course, last night, Illinois primary results came in, and Ted Dabrowski did not come out with the victory. Darren Bailey won a majority of the votes. When I checked last night, there were maybe 78% of the results in, and he was at 53%, which means Darren Bailey beat the entire field of opponents. Southern Illinois, people are saying downstate. Folks, there were 2 counties that Ted Dabrowski won, and he won them well. He won my vote. I wanted to see Ted Dabrowski win this, but he didn't. So today is a new day. What happens next? When we come back, we're going to ask Ted Dabrowski on the Annie Fry Show. What's next, Ted? Stick around. We'll be with Ted Dabrowski in just a minute. Stewart's American Mortgage, my friend Stewie, I've gotten to become friends with him, over the course of the years, first doing business with him in 2019, a repeat in 2020, because you might remember rates plummeted. So what is a bagel loan? It's a mortgage. It's a mortgage on your new home purchase that you're about to make, or it's a mortgage refinance on the home that you already have. You can improve your rate. You can improve the term of your mortgage. Maybe you signed up for a 30-year. Things have gone okay for you, and you're ready to take down what's left, maybe 26, 25 years, down to a 20, 15, whatever it might be. You want to improve your mortgage situation? There's one place you got to call before you make that final decision, and that's Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage, because the bagel loan comes with $0 in closing costs. I've done it twice. I can tell you from personal experience that that is accurate. No closing costs when you use the bagel loan, and he can close in less than 2 weeks. Call or text Stewie at 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Tell him Annie sent you. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
According to MasterCard, nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit throttlenet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw. When we meet our clients for the first time, they have built up a lifetime of savings. Their question is, what can we do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? First, we develop a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses. Then we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money.
You've earned it, and it's our job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. You will also get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 40 years. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25-plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, IGotFloor.com.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Annie Fry is St. Louis conservative.
What does a Project 2029 agenda look like for you?
I don't think you can speak of it in shorthand, but I'll just say a couple of things that I think are absolutely necessary. One is we've got to restore the rule of law, and that means holding people accountable who've broken the law. I'm talking about in this administration, when we get a new one, the people in this administration who've broken the law and federal agents who've broken the law need to be held accountable.
And that means criminally prosecuted.
Criminally prosecuted, civilly prosecuted, whatever it is that we can do, right? It may be that you can't criminally prosecute somebody, but that you can go after them civilly.
So there you have JB Pritzker, the current governor of Illinois, talking about Project 2029. Sounds ominous, doesn't it? He's basically talking about lawfare. At least that's what they accuse President Trump of and his administration if they go to prosecute people who they believe has committed crimes. JB Pritzker, squarely focused once again on President Trump and everything President Trump does. Unfortunately for the Illinois taxpayer, it's like, hello, can you see us here? We're standing here. We're taking on water. We're about to drown. And he's like, but what about President Trump? I want to talk a little bit to my friend Ted Dabrowski, who has been fighting valiantly to try to unseat JB Pritzker in the governor's seat. We had the Illinois primary yesterday. Ted, as you know, you earned my vote. I did cast my ballot for you yesterday, but you came up short. We appreciate you taking some time today, the day after the primary, to talk to us.
Annie, thank you so much for that vote of confidence. And, it was an exciting race. I loved being in it. I loved traveling the state, meeting people. We came short, but we did a lot of good stuff, and I'm happy to talk about that. But thank you for your support.
Yeah.
It meant a lot to me.
Well, I think you caused a lot of people to be hopeful, to have a fresh face, to have a fresh voice, a fresh perspective on this governor's race. So I do believe that going forward, Darren Bailey, last numbers I checked, he did get more than 50% of the vote, so he beat the field. So I think he's got a mandate, and Illinois has chosen who they want to try to beat, JB Pritzker. But I think that your effect on this race and some of the things that you brought to the forefront should have a lasting effect in this race. Talk to me about some of the things that you hope will carry on past your candidacy for this position.
Well, I tried to just bring it back to policy. You were just talking about Pritzker and how all he does is talk about Trump and about other issues and not the state. And you got to come back to just fundamental facts. You got to look at where we are relative to the rest of the country. I mean, that's a great way to start, right? Where do we rank against all the other states? What are our policies? Are they extreme? Not extreme. And that's what I tried to do. And I tried to then break down, here's where we have trouble. Here's what we need to fix. Here's what we need to attack, and do it not in a nasty, we've gotten so nasty in our politics that it just, nobody listens to each other anymore. And I'd like to bring back just normal, good old fashioned persuasion, logic, and reason. And I think when we show how extreme we are as a state in a bad way, extreme in so many ways, we can persuade people to come to our side and join us in this. And that means getting persuadable independents, persuadable Democrats, persuadable different ethnic groups, racial groups. We can come together, and I really think we can do that.
Yeah, I agree. So, I still think that fight is one that is a very worthy cause. Do you feel as though you're going to be able to, how do you see your role in this going forward? Yesterday, you're all geared up to try to take JB Pritzker out of that position on behalf of the people of Illinois. I got to imagine that fight still exists inside of you today.
Oh, I feel great today. Congratulations to Darren. They did so well down in southern Illinois that you got to give them credit for that. Now, so what really stood out, and I think here's where our success came in, is from our campaign, and this is our big message, and we're proven right on the message that whoever is going to beat Pritzker has to do well in Cook County, the suburbs. And, we won Cook County. The Dabrowski campaign won by 17 points in Cook County against Bailey. We got 12 points in the second largest county 10 points in DuPage, 12 points in Lake. So we performed really well. And I think what we showed is that this kind of discussion, this kind of what I just mentioned, a natural, policy-oriented, persuasive discussion is powerful enough to win. And what we proved is that where people know who we are, and what we stand for and how we talk about it, we can win. And so we can do well in those counties, but we have to be smart about how we message.
Yeah, that's 100% accurate. Ted Dabrowski speaking with us. He was a Republican candidate for governor in the state of Illinois, of course, president of Wire Points as well, and came up second in the race to be the GOP nominee for governor for this November race. I am looking right now. I have a lot of comments, a lot of responses on X regarding the results last night, and one commenter, don't know who they were, just somebody who has a stake just like you and I do in the state of Illinois, said that, kind of to the similar effect of what you just said there, you did really well in Cook County. You were able to get people out. You had the support there. You got DuPage as well. The Chicagoland area is an absolute necessity for the Darren Bailey campaign in order to beat JB Pritzker. And I suspect he's not going to be able to pull in those votes without your help. And I'm curious if you feel as though that is a partnership that's going to be able to be established so that we can get this thing eventually across the finish line.
Yeah, and just a few points before that, too. I think what's been fascinating about this race is how low the turnout has been in the Republican primary. It's scary, sad, and low. And you look at this, and it's a dramatic drop. I guess just overall 25% drop. Probably end up around 20% drop in turnout from nearly 800,000 last time to 600,000. So we're going to have to do a lot of work to get the votes out. And I think we saw that across the whole state as well. Look, I'm so happy with my success. I think we've run a very different campaign from the Bailey campaign. We were focused. I mean, I spent a lot of time in Southern Illinois as well.
Yeah.
I think there's a big lesson learned there that it's really hard to reach down there. And again, I thank you for your vote of confidence, but it's hard to reach. The media market's not the same. The populace is dispersed. And it's not like the Chicago market. So that's the big challenge. But I'm happy to engage in any way I can. I want to see us beat Pritzker. We'll just have to see how the Bailey campaign may want to engage me. We've been pretty different so far in our approach. So we'll see.
What a reflection, though, of the state of Illinois. I mean, it's true. We had Chicago Flips read on yesterday, and they at one point, one of the ladies from Chicago Flips read was kind of like maybe admonishing Southern Illinois, saying, "Just remember, Illinois goes through Chicago." And I'm here to say that's absolutely accurate. We know, we know that Illinois is not going to change if the area that has 2/3 of the population doesn't want it to change. So there has to be a partnership. Chicago cannot abdicate the connection that is necessary for turnout in Southern Illinois. If Southern, and by Southern you basically just mean non-Chicago. If non-Chicago Illinois shows up and we get 23% of the vote in the Chicagoland area, we have a shot at a statewide office. But your approach is important. The way that you handled it, it was about policy. That's something that was refreshing to people, a lot of the people whose vote you did earn. If you're boiling down your campaign and the winning strategy to beat JB Pritzker, are there certain talking points that you think that need to be discussed more going forward through November?
Yeah, I mean, there's a clear difference between. This is the hard part, right? There's a clear difference between Southern and Central Illinois, and of course you've got, the old manufacturing base, and you've got the farming, and it's of course a very more rural approach, and Chicago, of course, is very urban. And so what I think I brought to the table, and this is why I think we had success, is you've got to be able to talk to all kinds of groups. And again, me being half Latino, half Polish, and having traveled the world, and I've been lucky and fortunate to do that, I can speak to the different communities. And you have to treat them with respect. And we're all different. We have different cultural views, and of course, we know there's a huge difference between Chicago, much more liberal, and downstate, much more conservative. But it's one thing to have differences; is how you discuss them, and that's again one of the approaches. You have to be respectful for differences of opinion. I'm very principled in my opinions. I'm conservative, but I will approach you, whoever you are, in a way that's respectful. Not shove it down your throat, but I will hold on to my principles. So it's you got to be smart about it, and this is a multicultural, multi-ethnic, multiracial. And again, I think you got to persuade centrists who might have voted for Pritzker 2 times, and you're not going to win them over by calling them names. If you call Pritzker names, they are going to be turned off. So you have to win them with the policy, win them with the argument, and the crime data is on our side, the education data is on our side, and I mean on our side in terms of making our persuasive argument. The outmigration, the loss of companies, all that stuff. We can make normal persuasive arguments and win people over, not shove things down their throats and tell them that they're bad people. So that's the argument I make.
Okay, so last question. It's a tough question. I don't know how you're going to answer it, but I think it's important for me to ask it of you right now. Ted Dabrowski, you come in second place. You had a great campaign, I think one that you should be very proud of. Do you encourage your supporters to now lend their support to Darren Bailey in the general election to defeat JB Pritzker?
Yeah, no, I do. Darren, of course, and many of them will already be with Darren. They're going to be conservative Republican. Those who might be concerned, look, we know we need to get Pritzker out of office. But at the same time, Darren will have to earn their respect. And, he didn't come up here much, and he missed some of the debates, and he skipped I-80. But, okay, he's got the win now. Now he's got to convert and win up here. So, yeah, sure, I encourage all the people who voted for me to join. So, absolutely. Yeah. But like I said, he's got to earn it as well, though.
Yeah, he's going to have to earn every single one. And I think that it's very possible that the victory for the Republicans in this race will have to be from people who just decide to not show up to vote for JB Pritzker, who may not translate their vote into a Republican vote at the polls, but maybe just can't stomach another vote for JB Pritzker. We have to not give them reasons to fill in the circle for JB Pritzker. If they're disgusted with them, a non-vote is better than the, all right, I'm going to abstain from the Republican side here and give a non-vote the other way.
And Annie, to be clear, both of us had a challenge going against JB Pritzker and his money. Both of us had the challenge of having to do well in Cook County and the suburbs. And again, I'm very proud of how well we did up here. We kind of proved the point that you have to do well up here, and that the candidate that has the best chance of beating Pritzker is that one who does the best up here. That said, Darren won. Now, he got 90,000. It'll be around 90,000 fewer votes in Cook County, the callers, than he did last time. And, that has a lot to do with just the vote counts being down across the board. So it's going to take that much more work to persuade people. So, I wish them well, and it's a big challenge, but here you go.
Yeah, it had been a big challenge for you as well, but the
Absolutely.
folks in the state of Illinois, like me, like so many who listen to the show, we call it home, and home is always worth fighting for. And we know, Ted, that you've been doing that yourself as well, and we're very grateful because people who step up, even when it looks impossible, can sometimes make the impossible happen.
I tell you, it's been an amazing. I'm a first-time candidate, first-time running for office, and I gained so much from it. I love this state and the people. It's people want something. They want change, and especially down there where you are. That said, I think we can't give up on Illinois, and I plan on trying to figure out how I continue to engage and do my best this is a great state. We should, like I said, we should be a top 5 state, and I'm going to fight for that. So thank you for your opportunity, and thank you for your vote and having me on the show.
Of course, and we will fight there right alongside with you, continuing because we have the same goals in mind. Ted Dabrowski, thank you for stepping up and putting your name on that ballot. We were grateful for the opportunity to talk to you.
Look forward to talking to you more. Take care.
Bye-bye. Ted Dabrowski, a candidate for governor for Illinois for the Republican side, second place to Darren Bailey. A couple questions online about when we'll have Darren Bailey on the show. We're trying for 2:05 today. So the ask has been made, but of course, the man who just won the primaries probably got a pretty busy schedule. So we're working on making that happen. All signs pointing ahead to November. We're all in. As I said, when I did I'm not endorsing, but I am voting for Ted Dabrowski. If Darren Bailey wins, I'm all in for Darren Bailey. I know what needs to happen in the state of Illinois, and it's literally anybody but JB Pritzker. Anybody but JB Pritzker. And Darren Bailey is much better than anybody but JB Pritzker. So here we go. Does it seem like a tall mountain to climb? It does, but that's okay. We got to climb it. What other choice do you have? So we are in discussions with Darren Bailey and his staff, and we are working to get him on very soon. Let's take a quick break here. We'll be back in just a minute. The poll for today: do you trust President Trump? Here are your options. You've got 2 yeses and 2 nos. 1 simple yes. 1 yes, but I'm nervous. And then the no's: no, I don't trust him, but I used to. Or just no. YouTube.com/@AnnieFry. And you can text the Annie Fry Show text line at 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. Back in a minute. Home Shield Foundation Repair. Add an S to that. It's the website, homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com. Matt Hayes, waiting for your phone call, 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900. Matt Hayes, expert level foundation repair. You want somebody who's not going to screw you over, obviously. That's a talking point. Somebody who is excellent, not good, excellent at making sure that your foundation is restored to full working order. And Matt Hayes is that guy, and he has been for a long time. When he established Home Shield Foundation Repair, he kind of noticed how the industry was moving, and he's got his roots deep here in St. Louis. You're working with somebody who is running a family-owned business straight out of the ground here from St. Louis to make sure that you get service the right way based on your needs, not some, big national corporation's needs. 314-271-9900. That's the number to call and schedule a check on your basement with Home Shield Foundation Repair. Online at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
If you live in Missouri, have Medicaid, and need a caregiver, this message is important. Care at home is personal. That's why you may not want a stranger in your home to take care of you. You want someone who already knows you and your daily routines. With Freedom Care, you choose a trusted family member, a friend, or a neighbor. They will get paid after every shift to care for you, and it's 100% free to you. More than 70,000 people have already joined the Freedom Care family. Call your local Freedom Care. They'll check your Medicaid eligibility. Don't wait until a stranger shows up at your door. If you have Medicaid and need help at home, this care is available 100% free to you. Call Freedom Care now to see if you qualify. 314-343-1362. 314-343-1362. That's 314-343-1362.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
It's time for you to get to know my friends at Lit Cigar Lounge in Chesterfield, where luxury meets comfort. Mark Cox here. They have a great selection of rare bourbons, whiskeys, craft cocktails, anything you like to drink, cold beer, premium hand-rolled cigars from the finest makers in the world, even private lockers that are available if you choose to. Perfect for date nights or business meetings, and live music every Friday night. Family owned and operated. Check them out in Chesterfield at the District. It's litstl.com.
Bringing a data center online takes more than equipment. It takes precision. Graybar helps customers predict, stage, schedule, deliver, and verify every step of the build with critical products that are available now. From networking and wireless to critical power and testing tools, our teams help you reduce downtime risk and keep projects on track. Speed, scale, ready now. Yep, Graybar does that.
The YouTube live chat poll. Do you trust President Trump? Yes, but I'm nervous. No, but I used to, or no. You can vote on the Annie Fry Show YouTube stream, and we'll be sharing the results of that here in just a couple of hours. You can also text us at 314-241-9797, and we will share some of your responses from the 314, yes, I trust him, and from the 573, no, I do not. Okay, so keep sending those in. We'll continue to share those results. The time is 12:40. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
From Fenton to Fairview, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. I mean, we're sitting here in the studio right now. We got Fox News on some of the televisions that are in here. And President Trump is at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware, along with Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. And they are receiving the bodies of 6 perished service members. Looks like Senator Sheehy is there as well. And they just made it smaller so I can't see it. A 31-year-old, 33, 34, 38, 30, and 28. From Washington, Alabama, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, and another one from Ohio. These are your neighbors who have lost their lives in this conflict in Iran. And so our YouTube poll for today is asking if you trust President Trump. I think it's really important that when we have these conversations, while we're on the air, it's Conservative Talk Radio, we're going to, chit-chat about why Donald Trump is the best and all the Democrats suck. And if Trump wants this war in Iran, then we're all for it. You can't have that flippant of a conversation when we have coffins coming back from this conflict. Now, that also doesn't mean that because there would be coffins coming back from this conflict that you never get involved in a conflict ever, because it's a risk-reward situation. If Donald Trump doesn't make the decisions that he's making right now, what type of risk is he putting the American people in should he do nothing, which is what has happened over and over and over again with administrations prior to his. I've repeated that when I've talked to my friends who have been service members, some who are still involved in the military, others who are now retired after full service, and their first reaction to me is, Iran killed people in my unit. That there are people who they knew that they served with, and not like, oh, we served at the same time. We served in the same war on terror. No, they knew their names. They knew things about their families. They knew things about these people. And they died because Iran, either directly or through funded terrorism, took those lives. So these aren't the first lives of this conflict. And I have to remind myself, and I'm always open to the challenge. People are talking about, what about Mr. No New Wars President Donald Trump? I don't think this is a new war. I think this is a definitive period on the end of a very long war that Donald Trump has said, we're done with this. We're ending it. And if you look at how ironically, maybe, I don't know what the mental conflict I have, but whenever I want to say Joe Biden, I say Barack Obama. When you look at how Joe Biden exited Afghanistan and the pass that the lapdog media gave him in that situation, just so that he could politically say that they were pulling out, if Donald Trump is effectively ending the war on terror because he's ending the terrorists' ability to terrorize, then that's the context that at least I, at this point in time, see it in. The YouTube poll is, do you trust President Trump? Yes. Yes, but I'm nervous. No, but I used to, or no. Brad, before we get to some text, Ethan's going to read to us 314-241-9797 if you want to text us, 314-241-9797. Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I did.
Yeah.
You never know when I'm going to give out the bagel loan phone number. Stewie's like, just one time, slip you a $5. He's got people texting him about the war on terror. And he's like, I really service in bagels loans. Brad, you trust President Trump?
Yeah, when I look at this poll, my answer is yes. It's just the plain yes, the very first option there. He has done nothing to make me doubt him. They said 4 to 5 weeks. We're at week 2 on this war. I'm not actually even nervous. I'm just kind of waiting to see, because I know that we have a great military. I know that he approaches these sorts of things different than past presidents have. He's not taking a soft approach. He's hitting them very hard, very fast, and he's going to end this thing as quick as he can. So I'm a yes.
Some text messages. You said you had at least one more. 314-241-9797.
Yeah, someone from the 314 getting very deep and philosophical.
See, if you were Ryan, I was going to say, if you were Ryan, I'd know that it was not going that direction.
Well, I mean,
you're filling in for him today.
I said no.
Yeah.
So, and then this one from the 714. When Biden was in, I don't know where that is, but
find out.
It says, when Biden was in office, I trusted him like a fart the day after a chili festival and 15 Busch Lights. Now I 100% trust President Trump to make the best decision possible with the info he has.
That was a journey.
Yeah,
Mr.
it was. I enjoyed
Northern Orange County, California. I think I know who that is.
Hey, I want to throw this text out there as well from the 636.
All right.
Saying, happy Wednesday, everyone. I hope Steve Templeton is out there somewhere having a wonderful day.
Dave Murray's going to get jealous. We're going to start a war of weathermen.
Yes!
And Steve Templeton.
We love the Steve Templeton phrasing.
What is it? So, just to catch everybody up here, this is completely outside of the YouTube live chat poll. What were you guys talking? Like, how did the group chat come up yesterday or the day before when you told us?
There was that crazy storm over the weekend, remember?
Yeah.
It was Sunday. It rained really hard for a couple hours.
We were talking about it off the air, and you were saying that your bro chat.
Chat was going off on Sunday afternoon about Steve Templeton.
I made a comment about, this is why, I think I made a comment about how my son, his buddy chat, there's like 9 or 10 boys in it or whatever, they go ham when the weather's getting wild.
Yeah.
And then you said that not only does your bro chat do that, but you have a favorite weatherman that you idolize.
We all do. We all love Steve Templeton. We all are locked in when the weather's going crazy.
What is it about
on
Steve Templeton? Is it the style? Is it the approach? Does he have like a good 3-point stance? What's he doing?
He just has a gifting that not every weatherman comes along and has. And I can remember last year when there was the several tornadoes in the area, and not the one in St. Louis, but there was one that touched down in West Alton, and one that touched down in Afton area, and I think there was even one that touched down in Maryland Heights for a brief moment. That night, they were having to relocate in the Channel 4 studios to their basement studio, and he stayed on air through it as they were going to the basement, continuing to inform people.
What did you want him to do? Leave?
Well, what do you? That's just crazy to me. That's just crazy. Steve Templeton.
That dude's got to go down with the ship.
He has a gifting. He has a gift.
A gifting.
One with it. I'm going to call you out. I don't know who in your bro chat was saying this, but didn't someone say it's not serious yet? He doesn't have his sleeves rolled up?
Yeah. My buddy Dylan said, all right, we're okay. It's not a big deal. Steve doesn't have the sleeves rolled up.
Still got his cuff buttons
We would evaluate when Steve would take water breaks. So Steve hasn't had water in 45 minutes. Someone get him water.
He needs to have watch level rolled up sleeves, warning level, tornado warning, imminent danger, we're toast. I have one quick story, and I know we're way past time here, But we were going back and forth. I think we watched 2, 4, and 5, which means nothing to my kids because it's YouTube TV and there are no numbers associated with these channels anymore. But I don't know. I might have been Steve Templeton. He was talking about the line that was coming in because it was coming in definitively. And this is so funny. I'm sitting in the basement with all 4 kids and 2 dogs. I think Jared was in the driveway. Don't ask why. And
because he's a Midwest American man.
It's stupid, though. The line is coming in, and maybe it was Steve Templeton, but he goes, all right, guys, if you're right here, and he circles on the map, he goes, if you're right here, you're done. And my kids thought he meant like you're toast. And they looked at me with terror in their eyes. And I'm like, no, that means it's over. And they were genuinely relieved with a great magnitude because he goes, if you're right here, you're done. And I thought someone needs to tell him not to say that phrase or keep saying it. And then my kids will at least be amused as we go down with it.
That is the mystery of weather television.
You're done.
Are you dead or are you safe now?
They both gasped and dropped their jaws and looked at me. I'm like, what do you want me to do?
What are we going to talk?
You better talk to Dad. He's the one out there stopping the storm from coming into the driveway with his barbecue tongs in his hands going, bring it on!
He was monitoring the situation.
Yeah, he was. All right, Ethan's America next. Don't go away.
House, and I cannot wait to see you finally, April 11th. Although we're not calling it a redo because we never did the thing in the first place. You can't have a sequel if you don't have an original. Get your tickets at 971talk.com/events.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Ronald Reagan once famously said, "Government is not the solution, government is the problem." When it comes to economic growth, government can be a roadblock. With red tape, regulations, and subsidies, government stifles entrepreneurship and also props up businesses that deserve to go under. Unlike government, free markets encourage risk-taking, freedom to succeed or fail. Governments shouldn't be picking winners and losers, the market should. Free markets benefit the business owner and the customer by encouraging competition. Free market enabled a young man named J.C. Hall selling picture postcards in Kansas City to turn his idea into Hallmark cards. In St. Louis, the free market made it possible for Adolphus Busch to turn his father-in-law's local beer into the world's largest brewery. A free market also means you get to send your kids to the school of your choice. Learn more about free markets at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins!
Not Wiggins America, Ethan's America.
What a beat.
Ethan's America.
I think I should just protest and not say a word for 4 minutes.
Got to keep the music going, otherwise alarms might go off. We're not really sure. Maybe it's a good test.
Annie, when you were growing up, for guys, were skinny jeans the thing?
Heck no. No. Have you ever heard of Jinko jeans?
You better watch your mouth, Jinkos.
I know. I'm sorry.
I am tired of your coarse language. It's been
and
getting worse lately.
The lady on Instagram. I know. I'm sorry. Let's call it out. Let's make it public.
Called.
Do you know what Jinko jeans are?
No.
Okay. While you're reporting on this, I will share with the audience and you Jinko jeans. They know.
Jinko
Yeah,
jeans?
Yep. Just
Okay.
do your story.
Do my story. According to the younger generation, skinny jeans have officially been over for quite some time. The trend was called out on TikTok a couple of years ago in videos condemning the body-hugging pants and calling for their prompt removal from all closets.
I support it.
In one TikTok, a woman instructed her almost 500,000 viewers to either throw the pants away, light them on fire, or cut them up into something new. I don't know what you use jeans for. It's not like jeans can really be a rag.
Sure they can.
Can they?
Yeah, clean off your windows.
I don't know if we ever use jeans as a rag in our home. Let's see what else here.
Check out these jeans on the live stream. Now, y'all know what Jinko jeans look like, but they
Let's
were
take a
like
gander.
2 skirts, one on each leg, kind of. They were gigantic.
Oh, those are hideous.
Just wait, they're coming back.
Stop it. That's not funny.
You're going to be wearing them
yeah,
by the
they
time
have
next
been coming back. I've been seeing those. I think those are hideous.
They are hideous.
I don't understand.
So are skinny jeans. Can we just get down with a good, nice boot cut?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't understand the whole baggy apparel returning. I think
my gosh, kids look like slobs.
I think it looks stupid. And you know what? I have people that I know that wear this that are really trendy with the times, especially at my church. And I love them. They're great. But I think that these outfits just look dumb. Not a fan.
People just look like they've had a 3-day stomach issue and they finally were able to move out of the house.
It reminds me of the trend where, I guess this is kind of related, but back in the early 2000s when I remember seeing all the pictures of on NBA draft nights or NFL draft nights where all these guys are wearing the suits, but the suits are 4 times oversized.
Certainly.
I'm why do you do that? It just
Ender
looks
wants you to look
dumb.
up parachute pants later too.
Parachute pants. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm putting it on the list.
Do you know who MC
look-
Hammer is?
MC Hammer? Yeah, I know who Hammer is.
Okay, you can Google him too.
I don't really. Does he have anything besides Hammer Time?
Big. Yeah, I think only pants. Didn't he not wear shirts? Or maybe coats.
it was like
but
a coat.
He was ripped.
Okay, all right, good to know. Gen Z is embracing what they are calling sober dating, prioritizing health and authenticity over alcohol. They drink less than millennials and see the benefits of a sober, curious lifestyle. Sober dating fosters genuine connections, which is a deal for Zoomers, according to the experts. The experts are, according to Lindsay Dodgson. I don't know who that is.
She's an expert.
I guess so. For many, dating is not just synonymous with drinking, but unthinkable without it. But young people are changing the game. Gen Z is earning a reputation as the sober, curious generation that prioritizes their health, well-being, and authenticity when finding a partner.
Cheers to them with my iced tea. Cheers.
I think part of that might be because we talked about this a couple weeks ago. There's not as many people going out.
Yeah, the action isn't happening around alcohol.
Correct.
As a default. You can still do it. Although I will tell you what, you turn this music up. Because I was in a club in West Palm Beach when I was there for spring break, and they played this song 3 times in the amount of time I was in the club because it was new.
And you were wearing your boots and your jeans.
I was wearing my Jinko jeans.
And you were doing
my MC Hammer
You were
coat.
line dancing to Usher and Lil Jon.
It was mid-2000s, a little bit
Yeehaw,
past that.
partner.
Oh, Clematis Street, man, that was fun. All right. Let's talk to Deroy Murdock naturally next.
Consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
AirComfortService.com. Guys, it's going to be warm this weekend. I think I heard that spring is Friday. That's fantastic. Well, that becomes a little back and forth in a crazy kind of way here in St. Louis with the temperature of your home, but also the temperature of your office. If your HVAC is not working correctly at work, if you're the person who's the office manager, if you're the person who's making these decisions, and let's be honest, if you're the business owner, you need somebody to come out and give you a free second opinion on some sort of heat exchanger repair. You want Air Comfort Service. And you can call them at 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091. Tell them Annie sent you and have them come out and give you that second opinion that you've been looking for, that you know you can rely on. Just Google the reviews if you don't want to take my word for it. I am a multi-time customer of Air Comfort Service, and I've been satisfied each and every time. You will be too. I'm certain of it. Give them a call at 314-513-0091. Ask them about the commercial repairs that you need. You can find them online at aircomfortservice.com.
Men. Need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
A new statement from Iran's new leader. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. It's a second written statement released on state media and quoting the supreme leader, offering condolences and vowing vengeance for the death of Iran's top security official, one of 3 top officials killed by Israeli strikes in the past 2 days, also including Iran's intelligence chief, whose oversight included suspected sleeper cells around the world. The decision to launch Operation Epic Fury dominating a Senate hearing on worldwide threats.
The National Intelligence Director, Tulsi Gabbard, told the Senate Intelligence Committee.
The IC assesses the regime in Iran appears to be intact but largely degraded due to attacks on its leadership and military capabilities.
Committee ranking member Mark Warner questioned why Gabbard's written testimony states Iran's nuclear facilities were obliterated, but failed to read that part of her statement out loud.
I recognize that the time was running long, and I skipped through some of the portions.
So you chose to omit the parts that contradict the president.
The president has said the facilities were obliterated, and President Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, reported in February Iranian negotiators told him they possessed more than 400 pounds of highly enriched uranium.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. The president is attending a dignified transfer for 6 U.S. service members killed during a refueling plane accident over Iraq, while his administration takes steps to stabilize oil prices.
The Treasury Department is easing some sanctions on Venezuela's state-owned oil and gas company, allowing that company to sell oil directly to U.S. firms and the global market. At the same time, President Trump has signed a 60-day waiver to the century-old Jones Act, which requires vessels transporting goods or passengers between ports in the U.S. to be American-built, owned, or crewed.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Fox News alert from the Fed, just leaving interest rates alone, unchanged for the second time this year after 3 rate cuts last year. America is listening to Fox News.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
We have come out of another wild ride with our temperatures and getting into another one. The deep cold is over. Sunshine, south wind, 65 this afternoon. Tonight, some clouds, 46. Thursday, sunny and 74. 78 and sunny on Friday. 81 and sunny Saturday and Sunday. The spring season officially begins Friday morning. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
I have no idea why in the world the Democrats are unwilling to support something that over 80% of Americans support. And frankly, John, every demographic, African Americans, white Americans, Asians, Hispanics, Native Americans, mixed Americans, all support the Save America Act. President Trump is 100% right. This is common sense. Why would you not have to show an ID to vote? Actually, in Georgia, at a John Ossoff rally, you are required to have an ID to attend his rally, and yet here's one Democrat who will not support an ID to vote. Every single Democrat should be lining up with every single Republican to do two things: voter ID, yes, and Americans, only Americans, voting in American elections. John, this is common sense.
Senator from South Carolina, Tim Scott, saying what we're all thinking and also wondering, why has the Senate not been able to get this across the finish line quite yet? Let's talk to our friend, Deroy Murdock, who is with us once again, nationally syndicated columnist, Project 21 ambassador, and Fox News contributor. Of course, his piece in the Daily Signal on this very issue. Deroy, are we going to see the Senate get the SAVE Act done?
Annie, great talk with you again, and I sure hope so. I know that you've got very strong people like Mike Lee of Utah, Tim Scott, you just heard, John Kennedy of Louisiana, Rick Scott of Florida. A number of them were very, very vocal, insisting this needs to happen. President Trump says he won't sign anything else until the Save America Act is on his desk. I think there are about 40 or 50 House Republicans who said they will not take up anything the Senate sends over until the Save America Act is on President Trump's desk. So the GOP Senate is under tremendous pressure to get this done, and I would understand the reluctance if this were a 50-50 issue. Country's divided in half the country loves it, half the country hates it. But as Senator Scott just said, this thing right now, the Save America Act has the support of like 91% or 92% of Republicans, about 80-85% of independents, and 50% of Democrats want the legislation. As far as the actual policies underlying the measure, in terms of people who want voter ID, 95% of Republicans favor voter ID. Americans overall, 83%, and 71% of Democrats. So when you've got Democrats clamoring for a bill, the Republicans should be saying, great, all in favor say aye, and move it on. And you've got people like Tom Tillis of North Carolina. You have Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. You've got Mitch McConnell of Kentucky saying, "Oh, I don't know, I'm not sure. Oh, let's wring our hands. Let's think about it longer. Let's all go to lunch. Let's take a break and go home." I mean, I don't know what the excuse is for passing a bill that the American public wants overwhelmingly. Republicans want almost unanimously, and even Democrats want, 50% of Democrats want the bill per se, the Save America Act. And in terms of things like voter ID, 71% of Democrats favor that. Only citizens can vote in our elections. That also enjoys, I think, like 75-80% of Democrat support. So there's almost nobody who's against this bill other than Senate Democrats. And what the Republicans ought to do is hold a vote and have all 53 Republicans vote for this. The 47 Democrats can vote against it. The thing passes, send it on to send it on to President Trump for signature.
You know, it's just frustrating to me because it seems as though the Democrats are saying that government is so inefficient that people can't even get documentation of their birth without great obstacle placed in front of them. Government, you go to your county clerk's office. I've had to do this a bunch of times. I've been married, so I've had to get the marriage license, change my name. I've had to go get birth certificates for any one of my 4 children. The Real ID thing, I thought that was unnecessarily complicated. They didn't have a problem forcing that upon the American people. If it's cumbersome and difficult, then they have a government problem that they need to figure out. Not just say, it's too difficult, I guess we're going to walk away from it because it's too hard. That's not, generally speaking, the Democrats in the government are for more government in issues like this.
Well, you make a very good point. If they're saying, oh, my God, too much government red tape to do this, maybe, A, we ought to cut through the red tape, and B, we ought to consider not putting more red tape in front of other problems. And as it happens, the ability to get your birth certificate is very easy. The Democrats like say, you'll have to go through your mom and dad's attic and dig through boxes and go through your old, kindergarten and first grade report cards and your old, baseball trophies, whatever. Oh my God, there's the birth certificate after a 3-hour search. Look, you can go online. There's a website called Vital Check, VITALCHEK, vitalcheck.com. They work officially with 45 states across the country we can order your birth certificate and also wedding records, death certificates, but we're focused on birth certificates now. Order those online, pay with a credit card, and guess what? They'll mail it to your home. It'll land in your mailbox. If you want it in a hurry, they'll send it to you via UPS or FedEx or one of the overnight delivery services. You can probably get it within a couple of days. There are 5 states that don't participate: Hawaii, Nebraska, Vermont, a couple of others, but they have their own individual websites. Go on their website, put in when you were born, what your parents' names were, etc., and they also will send you a birth certificate, and the price of that runs between about $12 to $15 to about $30, $40. You and I have talked about if the cost is a problem, we ought to make it so that it's free of charge. Either people can write it off on their taxes, as you've suggested, keep receipts, write it off against your taxes, get a tax credit on that. If that ought to be one option. Another option is that let's say Vital Check, get a coupon code. The coupon code could be the word register. They can keep track of those, let people have them for free, and then each month they can contact the Treasury and say, hey, we did 5,000 birth certificates. Please reimburse us the full cost of $50, whatever, and the Treasury will send them a wire of the money. Another idea is if other states have a really good idea, they can apply for block grants, and the White House or the Congress say, okay, we like that idea. Illinois, whatever unique program you have, we'll give you block grant money. So basically, people ought to be able to get birth certificates for voter registration and photo ID if they don't have photo ID now, even though most people do have photo ID, and there'll be no excuse for this. I think there ought to be a bill. I'm suggesting, I mentioned this in the Daily Signal, I call it the Voting Documents for All Act of 2026, and basically say that the people of America who don't have photo ID and don't have birth certificates can get either or both free of charge. The money can be paid for through the assets that we seize from the cartels, from MS-13, from those guys. About $2 billion a year we get out of the hands of those guys. We ought to devote part of that money to pay for this, in part because we don't want MS-13 and Tren Aragua guys voting on elections, and also we want to be able to distinguish them from American citizens, and American citizens have photo ID and all that stuff. That'll make it easier to separate us from them. And so that money can be used to reimburse states, reimburse individuals, pay tax credits, whatever, and people can get this stuff for free. And if that bill, I'm suggesting do this before the SAVE Act, if that bill passes, the Democrats won't have an excuse because they'll say, oh, no one has photo ID. We'll say, well, you just voted on the Voting Documents for All Act. Anyone can get it for free. Next comment, they can't get a birth certificate. Oh, you know what? We just voted on that. Yes, they can get them for free. And at that point, they'll have no argument against this because those are the 2 big arguments they've raised. And the Democrats ought to vote for this. If they vote yes, then it'll make it easier for people to get these documents. If they vote no, then they're basically saying, we're not really interested in giving people photo ID and birth certificates. We just want to use those as talking points rather than actual solutions. So that ought to be on the Senate floor. I'd make the Democrats vote on that. If that passes, send it to the House. They ought to pass it that day, send it to President Trump that night. He can sign it. And at that point, the Democrats' argument about photo ID and birth certificates will disappear, and they basically won't have anything to say other than, well, we don't want to vote for this because it'll make it hard for us to steal elections. And I doubt they're going to get up and say that in public.
Yeah. Deroy Murdock speaking with us right now, Fox News contributor, nationally syndicated columnist. I'm a little annoyed by the disingenuous hypocrisy of listening to Chuck Schumer complain about ICE showing up at polling locations and the disenfranchising of a bunch of people who are going to want to show up and vote. And if you purge the voter rolls, then there's a bunch of people who are going to be removed from the voter rolls. But then at the same time, I'm hearing right now from our live chat that we have while we're having this conversation, they're saying voter fraud doesn't happen. Like, which is it? Which one is it? You got to make up your mind, because I'm not going to argue both positions. Pick one.
Yep. Exactly right. And look, he's saying that, all these millions of people will be taken. I think I heard the other day, 20, 30 million people will be taken off the voter rolls. Are you telling me we have 20, 30 million foreign citizens and illegal aliens on our vote rolls? Okay. That's a problem. And not a small number. That's not 1,000 here, 1,000 there. If he's talking about tens of millions, this is massive. If we have tens of millions of people on the voter rolls who shouldn't be there because they're either illegal or maybe they came here legally, they came on with visas and all that, but they've not been naturalized yet. They're still foreign citizens. They shouldn't be voting on elections. I'm sure they're nice people. Take them out to dinner, invite them to your Christmas parties, hire them, if you can, if they're legal, et cetera. Great, but sorry, until you either were born here or you take the oath of citizenship, you shouldn't be voting on elections. Period. And there should be no debate or controversy about that. And if Chuck Schumer believes that we have 20 or 30 million people on the vote rolls who are not American citizens, then yeah, they ought to be purged. Absolutely. They shouldn't be there. And unless he's saying that somehow this is a giant clerical error, I can't imagine a clerical error of that size.
Yeah.
And if so, again, you're pointing to tremendous, spectacular, profound inefficiency on the part of a completely inept government.
Yes, Deroy Murdock speaking with us right now. Another issue that's being brought up here is the difference between absentee voting and mail-in voting. And I will remind people, as a resident of Illinois myself, we had our primary yesterday. The Lord flooded the whole earth in the amount of time that we get to do early voting. 40 days that we get to early vote in the state of Illinois. Mail-in voting galore. What's the difference in your mind between absentee voting and what we have established really during the 2020 COVID election, the shenanigans that happened during the mail-in voting process?
Well, you read my mind, because this is my next piece, actually.
Wonderful.
Yeah, how about that? So basically during COVID-19, we went from absentee ballots, which we had for many years. Absentee ballots basically meant, okay, you're going to be absent. Imagine that. Hey, I'm not going to be in town election day. I'm going to be on a trip, or I'm going to be on a cruise, whatever it is. And so I want to vote early. Okay, send an absentee ballot. That's fine. Or I'm sick, I'm infirm, I'm paralyzed, whatever. Fine, we'll make it easy for you. And that was a small number. And then in 2020, the Democrats said, oh, my God, we can't have people go to the polls because it'll violate social distancing and it'll spread the virus, blah, blah, blah. So let's all vote at home. So you had California, Nevada, a number of other states just blast out ballots to every single solitary human being on the vote rolls, including people who had moved away, people who moved from LA to San Francisco, or moved from California to Texas, or Missouri for that matter, wherever it might be. And all these ballots were flying around, maybe even for dead people, in fact. And then you had the ballot harvesters go around and pick up these ballots. You had the drop boxes. You had people picking up ballots that were lying around on the floor at apartment buildings where people had moved away and they couldn't be delivered, so they just sat there. I've got some very depressing pictures from Las Vegas where there were so many ballots, undeliverable ballots sitting around an apartment building. Just threw them in the trash can, and you look in the trash can, you've got old soda bottles and some gum wrappers, and then sacred ballots on top of them. Unbelievable. We hope they didn't get pulled out. Oh, look, free ballots, let's fill these out, and then, forge the signature and send those off to be counted. Who knows how much of that sort of thing happened. So one of the things that the Save America Act does, and it should, is go back to the pre-COVID model where you can vote absentee if you are out of town, military, if you're sick, if you're infirm. None of this, just send out ballots to anybody and everybody. That was a temporary measure that was done to fight COVID, and the COVID pandemic officially ended, I think it was in March or April of 2013. So this has been just about 3 full years since the end of COVID officially. So there's no excuse for this temporary quote-unquote temporary measure continuing in perpetuity, which is what the Democrats have done. Total bait and switch when they did it early on in 2020. And said, oh, it's temporary, don't worry, it's just for a year or two. And now saying, oh, my God, how dare you take this permanent thing away from us. Again, they play their usual games, usual nonsense, and they just want to make it as easy as possible for them to engage in vote fraud, steal elections, and put people into office who get there illegitimately. And we need to put a stop to that. The Save America Act is the way to do it, and needs to pass the Senate and get onto President Trump's desk as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah, and all of these different types of things, like what is implemented right now that breaks an election the way of Republicans. All of these things that are implemented 100% of the time, they advantage the Democrat Party, which is why they stonewall the entire time.
That's correct. And I can't think of any single effort to improve election integrity, whether it's photo ID or citizenship, cleaning the voter rolls, any of that stuff. They oppose all of this stuff. At one point, Rick Scott, when he was governor of Florida, he was actually obligated. The motor voter law said you must every X number of years clean your voter rolls. And he started doing that. And the Department of Justice under Eric Holder came in and sued him and said, you must stop doing that. And he said, I'm just doing what the law said. They said, never mind, you're violating the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Stop cleaning the voter rolls. The Democrats want a loose situation with all these names flying around, ballots just flying around as if in a tornado, and then the ballots can election days, November 4, ballots can come in all the way until Thanksgiving, and you see very often the Republican will win on election night, and then over the next 5, 6, 7 days, oh my God, look at these ballots just came in. Wow, more ballots. Oh look, under that bed, more ballots, and all of a sudden, oh, looks like the Republican lost, the Democrat won. Too bad. Better luck next time. This is absurd. This is worse than third world. There are third world countries that run their elections far better than we do. Countries like Ghana, Congo, Nigeria, Mexico, they all require photo ID. So if it's really such a racist, bigoted concept, why is photo ID for voting so common across Africa? Is that the result of white nationalism? I mean, this is absurd, ridiculous nonsense. This is basic common sense stuff so we can have clean elections. And if Republicans or Democrats lose or win, everyone ought to be able to say, that was a clean election. That was a clean vote count. I'm happy with the result. I'm not happy with the result, but at least the process was fair. And when the process is not fair, that's when people think, that's not my president, that's not my governor, this is not my country, and the whole thing implodes.
Oh, man. It's spot on. And the Republicans in the Senate, they need to get on it and get this done. Hopefully they'll read your article in the Daily Signal, and the Democrats will have a great change of position on it. We'll see if that happens. Deroy,
nice.
Thank you so much. Always good to talk to you.
Always. All right,
care.
very good.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you next time. Thanks, anybody.
Nationally syndicated columnist, his piece in the Daily Signal, Senate Republicans can help Dems to pass the SAVE Act. Fox News contributor and Project 21 ambassador as well. Let's take a break. We'll be back in just a minute. The YouTube poll, hop on over to youtube.com/@AnnieFry and vote. Do you trust President Trump? Yes, but I'm nervous. No, but I used to. Or no, I got a text message from a family member who said, where's my fifth option? Hell yes. Apology for the language. It was from my dad. We'll be back in a minute. Don't go away.
If you live in Missouri, have Medicaid, and need a caregiver, this message is important. Care at home is personal. That's why you may not want a stranger in your home to take care of you. You want someone who already knows you and your daily routines. With Freedom Care, you choose a trusted family member, a friend, or a neighbor. They will get paid after every shift to care for you, and it's 100% free to you. More than 70,000 people have already joined the Freedom Care family. Call your local Freedom Care. They'll check your Medicaid eligibility. Don't wait until a stranger shows up at your door. If you have Medicaid and need help at home, this care is available 100% free to you. Call Freedom Care now to see if you qualify. 314-343-1362. 314-343-1362. That's 314-343-1362.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
Okay, I have some really good news. While we do have the 0% a lot, we do have it on our regular products because you will be unbelievably shocked, especially if you call me and I'll give you the straight up scoop on how much money you can actually save by if you spent $20,000 versus $10,000 on a system. The difference could be as little as, I don't know, let's just say, not to exaggerate, 5 cents. So be careful out there, and always remember your energy savings is based on your house. It is not based on the equipment. So common sense advice and help and guidance. Again, call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The easiest, 314-293-2600. Again, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, that is bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Annie Fry is St. Louis conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. There's a lot popping on Capitol Hill today. And there was a hearing with Mark Wayne Mullen, who has been nominated for the position that Kristi Noem previously had, Secretary of DHS, Department of Homeland Security, currently not funded. And then the really spicy detail in that is that committee that is holding that hearing before he would go in front of the entire Senate to be confirmed, because he's the president's nominee to the cabinet to be the Secretary of Department of Homeland Security. The spicy part about that is that's chaired by Rand Paul. Now, do you remember a long time ago when Rand Paul got, what's the right word? Assaulted? Is that enough of what he got? Because it was he was in trouble. He was head trauma, right?
Yeah, broken ribs, hospitalized.
Yeah, his neighbor went nuts on him. Mark Wayne Mullen made some comments that suggested that, would you say it's safe to say that Rand Paul got what he, not necessarily what he deserved, but what he was asking for? I feel like that's the way that Rand Paul suggested that went down. They don't like each other. They are not cool with one another. So you've got Rand Paul, who is chairing this committee. So he's in charge. I think it was, let me see. I've got a bunch of things saved on this because it's really spicy. It's super dramatic, gossipy kind of stuff. Bill Melugin reported earlier this morning through his X page at Bill Melugin _. Who got Bill Melugin? Who got at Bill Melugin? Give that man his name. If that's your name, I understand that. But I don't know you, Bill Melugin. I only know Bill Melugin _. Just swap. Bill Melugin reported for Fox. Per source familiar, Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky blocked Senator Katie Britt from Alabama from introducing Senator Mark Wayne Mullen at his confirmation hearing this morning. Britt and Mullen are good friends, and Britt is the chair of DHS Appropriations in the Senate. She was planning to introduce him. But Fox News is told that Rand Paul, the chairman of the Senate Homeland Security Committee, would not allow it. Bill Melugin goes on to report 3 sources familiar now confirmed to Fox News that Senator Rand Paul blocked Katie Britt from introducing Mullen at his hearing. Statement to Fox via senior Senate GOP source familiar with the situation. So this is something that they Senior Senate GOP source told Fox, quote, Rand Paul has become completely blinded by his hatred to President Trump and petty personal squabbles. His actions today were those of a seething snake and a hopeless hypocrite. See the alliteration there? What kind of free speech advocate would bar Senator Mullins' choice to deliver his introduction from speaking? What kind of Republican would bar a fellow Republican senator from voicing their support of a colleague? Why is this guy allowed to hold a Republican gavel anymore? So, guys, Republicans cannot get out of their own way. We cannot have nice things. This is why we can't have nice things. So Senator Rand Paul left part of the hearing today, and I cannot imagine that anything that Senator Paul is saying right here is not appropriate to play. But, Brad, I'm going to ask you to stand real close to that dump button in case Senator Rand Paul decides to get a little spicy with his language here. But he's standing in a pool of reporters. And, I mean, Rand Paul is going to Rand Paul. There's nobody like him, maybe except for his dad. But I think his dad might have been a little bit better at the politics of it. Here is Senator Paul right after he went and talked to the press pool. I see Bill Malugin there.
Planning on voting for this nomination?
I think there are anger issues. I think there's a lack of contrition, both about the violence that was perpetrated on me, but really the violent episode he was involved in the Senate committee where he's told the media, frankly, that he doesn't regret it. He's also told the media there is, he said it again today, that there's historical precedent for violence, that caning and dueling happened all the time. And I pointed out, well, it was illegal 170, 200 years ago. They would actually flee, and they would do it in areas they could find where the law didn't reach. Sometimes they would actually go to Canada. Sometimes they'd go from one state to the other. But the mass of civilized response, even in the 1850s or 1830s, was against dueling. That's why dueling was made illegal. The fact that he can't bring himself to say that, really we shouldn't settle political questions with violence, I think that would be a terrible example for ICE and for our Border Patrol agents. We're in the midst, I think, of a crisis where there needs to be more direction from the top. And a guy who brawls, a guy who can't even say he's sorry about, wishing violence on me and really applauding the attack that happened on me, can't come to say that. I don't know how he could, from my point of view, be a leader of ICE or Border Patrol.
So Senator Paul there saying, nope, not gonna vote for him. I kind of feel like Senator Rand Paul has the right to say, this guy said some really jerky things about me. He does not get my vote. But I also think that he should have, I don't know what the procedure is, but should he really have been chairing this committee? If he was a no vote coming in for personal reasons, should he? I guess. I don't know. But like I said, we cannot have nice things on the right side of the aisle. We always get in our own way, and we're doing it again, of course. Let's take a break. Jim Carafano is going to join us in just a minute, Senior Counselor to the President and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. Jim Carafano on the Iran conflict in a few minutes. Don't go away.
There's no better way to upgrade your backyard than by calling my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck Company. Mark Cox here, locally owned and operated for 58 years now, and it is a sign you have the very best because they're so proud of what they do. They offer fences, of course, and decks, and sunrooms, and screen rooms, and patios, retaining walls, and so much more. Chesterfield Fence and Deck takes so much pride in what they do because they've done it for so many people. When they come over to your house, they'll give you a free estimate, no obligation, free project design. They'll take out their digital photo gallery of completed projects and let you see what other people are doing, and then you can make it your own. When they do their work, they give you a 5-year labor warranty and a comprehensive material warranty, and they're highly rated with the Better Business Bureau, of course. Reach out to them today. Tell them you heard about it from Mark Cox. You're going to get 48 months interest-free financing on your next project. Go to chesterfieldfence.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
100 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of St. Louis has been repairing and replacing garage doors. A century of trust in St. Louis. Always look for the iconic red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis for same-day repair service and no extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Trust your friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorstlouis.com.
You can feel the Clydesdales circling the field. Hear the stands come alive. Smell the hot dogs, the popcorn, and cold beer in the air. See the crowd rise as the first pitch hits the glove. And just like that, a new season begins. The countdown is on until opening day, and tickets start at just $49. Don't miss St. Louis's favorite holiday. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/opening day.
Swings, and it's a high fly ball. That's hit deep. It's a gunner! It's a gunner! And a game winner!
Start the season in style on Saturday, March 28th. The Cardinals welcome the Tampa Bay Rays for a spring showdown downtown. That day, you can score a lightweight Cardinals pullover, a navy blue look built for early season nights, and easy everyday wear. Comfortable, classic, and ready for cool evenings at the ballpark. It's a layer you'll reach for all season long. Get tickets and details at cardinals.com/promotions.
Andrea, you know what it's time to think about?
Vacation?
No, flooring.
Oh, right. I'm way ahead of you there. We have a huge selection of carpet tile, sheet vinyl, luxury vinyl plank, luxury vinyl tile, laminate, and more, with new inventory arriving every day.
That's right. Come check us out at our 3 locations, Hazelwood, O'Fallon, Illinois, and our newest store in South County on Tesson Ferry between 270 and 141.
Plus free financing for qualified purchasers.
Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy. Best Buy Flooring. Open 7 days a week.
Today's YouTube live chat poll. Do you trust President Trump? We've got 4 options. Yes, but I'm nervous. No, but I used to. And just no. Vote on the YouTube live chat poll. Tell us what why you voted the way you voted. You can leave a comment on the chat, or you can text us at 314-241-9797. We're monitoring the text line, and we will read your text on the air if it's good. The time is 1:35. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
Where common sense rules the mic. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
What just seems so insane based on what he ran on. I mean, this is why a lot of people feel betrayed, right? He ran on no more wars and these stupid, senseless wars, and then we have one that we can't even really clearly define why we did it.
Okay, we can't. That's Joe Rogan. He's you would say majorly influential in the podcast space, and he's saying that Donald Trump was the no new wars president. That was his commitment to us. But I've been wanting to ask this question of our next guest for quite some time. Is this a new war? Or is this a really, really long war? Let's talk to Jim Carafano. He is the senior counselor to the president and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. Jim, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, so Joe Rogan is telling you what Joe Rogan thinks,
Yeah.
not what Donald Trump thinks or promised or ever said. The president is actually super clear, and he was actually very consistent in this in his first term in office. His job is to put America's interests first. Now, that means, don't do anything stupid, but this notion that somehow he never promised to kill anybody. I mean, look, we saw him kill people in the first term. So give me a break. So these people are articulating the Donald Trump they want, Not even the Donald Trump. If you actually listen to Donald Trump and watch his actions, that what he was doing. So they're just full of baloney.
Yeah.
But you're right. This is the thing, because I get this question all the time, right? So there's three kinds of war, right? I mean, or you're attacked, you respond, right? That's perfectly legitimate. Every nation has the inherent right of self-defense. Then there's what's called preemptive preemptive action, which is somebody's getting ready to smack you in the face, you smack them first. That is also explicitly stated under the UN Charter as perfectly permissible. Then there's what's called preventive war, which is, well, someday this guy might attack me, so I'm going to attack him first. That is not considered just or appropriate or proportional. That essentially is the war that the Russians committed against Ukraine. Then you get to this tricky question of, well, what are we doing with Iran? And I think the whether you like it or not, the actual legal answer is, look, we have been in a state of armed conflict with Iran since they took over the embassy, and essentially that conflict never ended. So this thing about, well, there's no imminent, that's irrelevant, because by de facto we were already at war, and we have been. Yeah. We're still technically at war with the state of North Korea because we never ended that conflict. The second Iraq war was really an extension of the first Iraq war because we never formally ended that conflict. So, yeah, I mean, from a legal perspective, this has always been an ongoing conflict where the enemy has shown both intent and action against the United States, and the United States is perfectly legally entitled to respond when and where the United States chooses. That's just kind of the way the rules are. So yeah, is what we're doing legally. That you could say it's not smart. It's not. I wouldn't do this. This is not fine. You can say all those things, but you can't say the U.S. is not legally justified in responding to the aggression of Iran, which really goes back, to when I was a second lieutenant. Which is freaking long time ago.
We're speaking to former Second Lieutenant Jim Carafano here on the Annie Fry Show. You should be president by now, Jim. I mean, you should be making these decisions. Yeah, I think about when you've come on here over and over and over again, and we've talked about all of these types of issues with immigration and, during the Biden years about open borders and what the cost of that is. But there's always been kind of this lingering understanding that terrorists, and, of course, that state sponsor of terrorism that goes all the way up to Iran, they'd really like to find an open back door, maybe crawl through a window. Joe Biden's like, how about the front door? And you've kept this as a front and center issue when the administration that was in charge didn't want to do anything about it. I mean, if it was a threat then, I got to imagine it was still going to be a threat now until they couldn't kill us anymore.
The only thing that protected us against the Iranians taking the war to our shores is they just weren't very good at it. I mean, it's not like they didn't try to assassinate people, to attack. They just weren't very good at it. And I think part of the answer for that is, well, it wasn't a top priority for them because in their own neighborhood, they were king. They had their surrogates. They had their ballistic missiles. They had everybody in the region cowering at their knees. They had their, surrogates running around, Latin America. And so, the fact that they couldn't actually, bring things to America's shore was, for them, like, not a big deal. And also, having maybe learned the lesson of 9/11, maybe not a good idea to overtly attack the United States in its own backyard. That might spark exactly what they're doing now. But if you look at how the Iranians have responded to this, right? Because they were always about, we're the crazy guy. We are so dangerous. Don't mess with us. That was always their shtick, that you couldn't really take the fight to them. And the first phase of this was they were going to try essentially to rope-a-dope the U.S. with negotiations, just drag negotiations on forever. Well, that didn't work. And then their second strategy was, well, we're going to just fire missiles at everybody in the region, and they will be so scared and pee their pants. They will go to the United States and say, oh, please stop the war because we can't. And that didn't work. And then their third thing was, well, we're going to create so much economic chaos that will stop the, and that's not working either because we're going to open the straits. So the fourth strategy is literally, we will just take as much punishment as we can. And as long as we are left standing in the end, still governing the country, then we're okay. That's their current strategy.
Jim Carafano speaking with us right now. I think there was a little bit of to-do made over comments. I guess maybe it was Secretary Rubio that made a comment about who was going to strike first. And President Trump has come out and said repeatedly that, he did see an imminent threat. Now we have the new darling of the leftist media, Joe Kent. He is given his resignation as the National Counterterrorism Center director because he said in his wisdom that he did not see an imminent threat. So he saw this as an unnecessary aggression towards Iran. He didn't support it. Should we be thinking about what Joe Kent knows and what he's saying to America?
Well, but it's like I said, it's an irrelevant debate, right? It doesn't matter if it was an imminent threat or not. An ongoing state of conflict was already underway. Therefore, you didn't need an imminent threat like that he's going to hit me tomorrow as a legal cause to go to war. It's not required. So they can debate imminent all they want. It's not relevant. The reality is we were in a state of conflict with Iran. The reality is what so there's two in law of war. There's the proportionality and justice in going to war and proportionality and justice in war, right? So we're already in a state of conflict. So you don't need a just cause to go to war because you're already basically at war. And then the question is, what are you doing in war? And, people think proportionality means like tick for tat. I shoot a soldier, you shoot a soldier, I down a plane, you down a plane. And that's not what it means. It means that your military actions are proportional to the war that you're in. So what are we doing? We're taking about all the things that threatened us and our allies. So ballistic missiles, nuclear weapons, all the surrogates, the capability to do that. And then we're taking out all the infrastructure and the governance. The guys who are running around said, "Death to America, we will kill you, we're taking out contracts of you." All that stuff's perfectly legal targets. So that I get the whole thing, but I don't know. I don't know Joe. I don't know where he's coming from. He can write all the letters he wants, but in addition to much of his letter saying things that are actually factually incorrect, right? He can have this is what I think. And the answer is, yeah, I get that, Joe. But you know what? Like 100 million people didn't vote for you to be president of the United States. And when we vote for president of the United States, there's this little thing in the bottom of the box that nobody reads. It says, you are electing the commander-in-chief. And the commander-in-chief gets a huge role in deciding on how to protect you and your interests. And if you don't like it, don't vote for the guy. But his opinion outweighs yours. Sorry. I mean, I didn't agree with everything Bush did. I didn't agree with everything Obama did. I mean, I was against Libya. I thought I wasn't real super about doing Iraq and Afghanistan at the same time or trying to do regime change. But I never questioned the legality of what they did because the reality is it's super perfectly legal.
Jim Carafano speaking with us. I want to get your thought, and I'm going to ask you a question that I suspect is going to annoy the heck out of you because you don't like to waste time talking about it. And I'm going to ask you the 30,000-foot version of it. But there's just a lot of talk. There's a lot of chatter. I know you're on X. I encourage everyone to follow you at JJ Carafano because I like the way you swat certain things down just with a great brevity. I appreciate that. But there's a lot of divisive discussion taking place on, whether we're supporting Islamic countries, Israel. It seems as though it's meant to divide the voters of the United States. And it seems like in a lot of different ways, it's come out of the blue. And I just wanted you to talk to our listeners who might be encountering that and give us some true north on how to navigate this situation right now.
Well, I think voters should make up minds for themselves, but you should be aware when you're listening to these debates, there are people out there who are representing foreign governments that are trying to undermine the solidarity and the supporting the United States. And so they're weighing in. You got these bots doing this stuff, and you got the Russians, the Chinese doing that. So that then you have a political divide. I mean, let's be honest, okay? I mean, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, doesn't matter, right? The Democratic answer to everything is whatever Trump does is wrong.
Right. Correct.
And so their politics do not allow them to support our nation in time of war. That's just the reality of it. Yep. And then there are people that just, disagree, say wrong time. All three of those things are going on, at the same time. And I would say, I probably said this 1,000,000 times. The big chance for you as an individual citizen, which is why things like the SAVE Act are so important, and the legitimacy and efficacy of elections. The big chance to make the life and death decisions about going to war, putting your sons in harm and daughters in harm's way, dealing with threats around the world, is the day you vote for the president of the United States. And, when you do these polls and people, I'm voting on health care, or I'm voting on, redistricting and packet. It doesn't matter. You are voting for the commander in chief. You're putting the lives of the nation in their hands because they are going to make the big, tough decisions. And, when you read de Tocqueville's Democracy and all the other stuff, the number one thing they fretted about was you can't have a vote about going to war, right? Mm-hmm. In the end of the day, you have to have a leader, and they have to have the power to lead. And you give this extraordinary power to the president in the area of defense and national security that you don't give them in any other area of government, just because when in wartime, you can't sit around and have a war council with 360 million people and vote on this, let alone the Congress, right? Because they knew that foreign people were going to try to interfere. They knew that internal divisive politics were going to try. I mean, we've been dealing with this since Jefferson and Adams, in the War of 1812. I mean, this is a natural part of democracy, but democracy is not a suicide pact, as a justice famously once said. And one of the ways that you prevent it from becoming a suicide pact is you rest the power of the commander-in-chief of the armed forces in an individual. And the difference between this and Iran, you get to vote every 4 years.
Yes.
And if you don't like your decision, make a different one next time. But when you make that decision, when you drop that ballot, that's when you ought to think seriously about who do I trust? Because you don't know what's going to happen the next day, the next year, or 2 years from that. Both Woodrow Wilson and FDR were famously elected on campaigning not to take America to war. Both of them were war presidents because that's what the times demanded, right? And anybody who said, well, you can't do that. You promised me you weren't going to take the country to war. Really, that's not how it works, right?
Yeah.
So that's people should think long and hard about it, but you can't have buyer's remorse. I mean, we're already at war.
Do you trust President Trump? Next time. Do you feel as though do you trust President Trump? Has he adhered to the campaign promises he made?
Well, I think he's been very consistent in how he's addressed foreign policy. I mean, you've seen these not ads, but these clips of him going back to the 1980s,
yes,
saying, "Well, if I were president, I would never let Iran get a nuclear bomb. That's ridiculous. What are you out of your mind?" So I think he's been amazingly consistent. But if you're asking me, do I trust Donald Trump? I think Donald Trump is the greatest war president that we have had in modern times. So I am putting him ahead of Ronald Reagan. I think, honestly. So I don't know. I love Eisenhower and FDR did win World War II, so it's hard to take that one from him. But I wouldn't. There's nobody that's been president in my lifetime, maybe with the exception of Eisenhower, would I put in front of Donald Trump if we were saying who do you want to be commander in chief if the bullets are going off? He'd be the guy I would pick.
From a retired Lieutenant Colonel Jim Carafano. We appreciate you and your time. I've missed having you on here to talk about all this, so thank you for fitting us in on a Wednesday, Jim. Yeah. Always great to speak with you.
Right. Thanks for calling.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Jim Carafano, the Senior Counselor to the President and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. Hard to get a better endorsement than that one there from Jim Carafano. Our question to you is the same as the one I just posed to Jim Carafano. Do you trust President Trump? The YouTube poll options, yes, but I'm nervous, no, but I used to, or just no. Got some comments here that have come in on the Annie Fry YouTube chat. We're also taking your thoughts, your comments on the text line. You can text the Annie Fry Show at 314-241-9797. The Ice Pick said, I trust President Trump 100%. I trust him during his first term, and I trust him doing his second time, or you can say this, his third time, but I would love 4 more years. So I say Let the man cook. He threw a third term in there. Oh, man, you just made some butt cheeks pucker right there. I'll say that. Todd, our friend Todd, said, I wear long sleeves at work. So I don't know why this is in there. Thanks for starring that. What are we starring here?
I
don't understand what's going on here. Sassy Pants said, for the poll, yes, I believe in Trump. The libs need to shut up and focus on policy. Joe said, I don't trust him with my casino or my wife, but I'm all in with him running my country. Okay. Joe, do you have a casino? I need to know. I need to know. Where is it located? Come play a little poker. Chris says, yes, I trust him to run the country. You can comment on the Annie Fright YouTube live chat. Looks like you can comment pretty much anything, and we might read at least the first half of it. Dale said, I trust Trump. Otherwise, I would not have voted for him. So keep the comments coming. When we come back in the 2 o'clock hour, we'll continue to filter some of those comments coming in on the text line and on the Annie Fry YouTube chat. Go vote in the poll as well there in the live chat. But we've got Darren Bailey coming on. At about 2:05, we're going to have a phone chat with him. I'm excited to have him on. He is the nominee for the Republican Party in the state of Illinois. A pretty strong mandate from the electorate in Illinois saying we want you to be the guy who runs against JB Pritzker. So we're going to talk about what Darren Bailey is doing to unite the party, to get that support out of Cook County that Ted Dabrowski was able to win. That's where his strong suit was. We talked with Ted at 12:18 today on the show, and we want to know what kind of plans we have from the Darren Bailey, Aaron Del Mar ticket to win this time around against JB Pritzker. You want JB Pritzker gone, then you have to get behind Darren Bailey. And we're looking forward to having those conversations here on the Annie Fry Show as we move towards November, where that election is going to come to fruition. Juliana Stratton, who's the current lieutenant governor of the state of Illinois, won the Democratic nomination for Senate yesterday to replace Dick Durbin, which means she will be the Democrat nominee facing off against Don Tracy, who won the Republican nomination. So we have an open Senate seat in the state of Illinois. It will be Juliana Stratton, the current lieutenant governor under JB Pritzker, running against Don Tracy, who has been in charge of the Illinois GOP, running against Juliana Stratton there. Juliana Stratton, Don Tracy. That ticket, I looked, and I think the turnout, we've seen the numbers, heard the conversation. Ted Dabrowski made the comments about this when we discussed this with him earlier in the show. Republican turnout was abysmal yesterday across the state. When I was looking, now granted, there was a strong reason for people to show up, especially in the northeastern part of the state, to cast a ballot for that Democratic nominee for the Senate. Of course, you would think that Senate seat that is currently held by Dick Durbin, who's maybe the second highest ranking senator in the Democrat Party, that's a likely blue seat. Don Tracy has a very tough road ahead of him, but we're going to do our best and compete in that seat as best we can. So whoever wins that primary, it's kind of like in Illinois. You know, when Eric Schmidt won the primary in Illinois, you kind of figured that was the ball game. You got to go through the process. You do have to campaign through the general election. But Missouri's Senate seat, likely going to go Republican. The Illinois Senate seat that Dick Durbin currently holds, likely going to go Democrat. So that's a big race, that Senate race. I was looking last night when I shut things off, probably around 9:45 p.m. I don't know if it was later or not. I was scrolling results all evening on the Annie Fry YouTube page. You should subscribe if you want pop-up stuff like that. I think at that point in time, maybe 80% of the vote in total across the state. The third place vote getter in the Senate Democrat primary was beating the Republican turnout. Don Tracy's vote total, which was sizable in the Republican primary, would have come in fourth, that vote total in the Democrat primary. We got a turnout problem in the state of Illinois. Is anything going to change? Did all the Republican voters move to Tennessee and Florida and Arkansas and Missouri and Indiana? Did they all leave? Maybe. If you're stuck, if you're left behind, what are you going to do about it? You going to cry about it? You going to stay at home and just complain about it and just talk about how you can't move? Or are you going to show up and make a point to try to make a change, at least go down fighting? I think that's what I'm going to do. I know that's what I'm going to do. And our nominee for the Republican candidacy for governor, Darren Bailey, is with us next. Don't go away.
When we meet our clients for the first time, they have built up a lifetime of savings. Their question is, what can we do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? First, we develop a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses. Then we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money.
You've earned it, and it's our job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. You will also get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 40 years. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Point Pest Control. You guys spell point with an E. PointPestControl.com. I appreciate these people so much. They're some of my favorite people. They come to my home quarterly, and I pay that subscription so that I can be pest-free year-round. You understand that as the seasons change, we got all of them here in St. Louis, sometimes in the same day, that different critters, different types of insects, bugs, arachnids, rodents, they try to get into your home. And Point Pest Control, if you are like me and you become a Premier Service Plan subscriber, you don't have to worry about whatever season it is. I don't ever know what rodent or pest season it is in my home because Point Pest Control, they ensure that I don't have to deal with that. Now, if you're dealing with that right now yourself, you're going to want to call Point Pest Control and sign up to be a Premier Service Plan subscriber. Drop the name Annie, and you'll save an extra 10% discount on top of whatever specials they have going on. Call 636-798-0023. Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholt of Kaufman Townsley. Injured at work? Not choosing the best lawyer will cost you. But here's the good news. Since you don't pay unless we win, you can afford the very best. Kaufman Townsley. Call 314-777-7777.
Did you know replacing old vinyl windows with more vinyl windows might not be the best choice? Hi, it's Kim, and I'm here to tell you about Infinity from Marvin Windows because these fiberglass windows, they're energy efficient, they're beautiful, and they're custom built to fit your home perfectly. The team at Lakeside Renovation and Design just makes the process so easy. I love the fact that they even offer a lifetime workmanship warranty. Look, if you're tired of drafts, high energy bills, or maybe hard to open windows, now is the time to upgrade. Visit windowsbylakeside.com to schedule your free consultation today.
Hey, St. Louis, need to sell your home fast? The Gelman team with eXp Realty can make you an instant cash offer in just 24 hours. No showings, no repairs, no waiting, no drama. Visit thegelmanteam.com to see what your home could sell for fast. Or give the Gelman team a call at 314-336-1991.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Respects. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. A solemn ceremony to honor 6 Americans killed in a crash during Operation Epic Fury.
For the second time since airstrikes were launched against Iran nearly 3 weeks ago, President Trump traveled to Dover Air Force Base in Delaware to participate in the dignified transfers of service members killed. 6 crew members died in the crash of a KC-135 refueling aircraft last week during combat operations against Iran. The plane went down in Iraq. A second aircraft involved in the incident was able to land safely. A total of 13 service members have been killed in the war and roughly 200 others wounded, the Pentagon says.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. The president's decision-making on Iran, a main focus at a Senate hearing on worldwide threats with top intelligence officials.
Georgia Democratic Senator John Ossoff highlighted National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard's written testimony in which she wrote Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated and there had been no efforts to rebuild enrichment capability. Ossoff asked if despite that she considered Iran an imminent threat.
Yes or no?
It is not the intelligence community's responsibility to determine what is and is not an imminent threat.
Okay.
That is up to the president
here's the problem.
Based on a volume
of
information
it is precisely
that he receives.
It is precisely your responsibility.
Gabbard says they do assess that the Iranian regime is intact but degraded and said if it survives, they will try to rebuild their missile and drone forces.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Uncertainty at the Fed about how much fighting in the Middle East would impact the U.S. economy and for how long.
The thing I really want to emphasize is that nobody knows. You know, the economics effect could be bigger, they could be smaller, they could be much smaller or much bigger. We just don't know.
Chair Jerome Powell, as the Fed for now forecasts slightly higher growth and inflation this year and leaves interest rates unchanged. America is listening to Fox News.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
We have come out of another wild ride with our temperatures and getting into another one. The deep cold is over. Sunshine, south wind, 65 this afternoon. Tonight, some clouds, 46. Thursday, sunny and 74. 78 and sunny on Friday. 81 and sunny Saturday and Sunday. The spring season officially begins Friday morning. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their honor flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for HVAC services, aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For the sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Last night was an interesting night, to say the least. We were sitting at home, and I was watching the results come in on the Illinois primary. It's very hard. In the past, the Illinois primary doesn't happen on a night when there's a bunch of other things happening, so there isn't a ton of coverage. You get the scroll on the bottom of, some of the major news networks, but it's not really like breaking news when these types of things end up, when results end up coming in. And of course, a lot of us want those super hyper local results. You want to know, for instance, the one that I was very curious about in Madison County was a referendum that was on the ballot regarding the K through 12 scholarship dollars that are being donated. Thank you, big, beautiful law. The ones where you can donate $1,700 a year starting January of 2027 into the system where all of these scholarship dollars end up becoming available to children in public school, in private school, in home school, for tutoring, for different types of equipment and all the different types of things you need to help educate your kid. This money, these scholarships are being made available, fully tax deductible. It's a tax credit. You donate $1,700 yourself, $3,400 for your household. And guess what? You get to write that off as a tax credit on the next year's taxes. Isn't that great? How many people are going to participate in this system? They're going to flood the system, flood the zone, because people are going to want those tax credits on their own when they do their taxes the next year. You basically are making a decision. Do I want the government to have my $1,700, or would I like a kid to have these dollars to help them with their education? All that needs to happen is the governor of each state needs to say, yep, I'm going to allow the children of my state, of Illinois, to participate in this program. People in Illinois can donate to this program and get the tax credit. It's all up to JB Pritzker right now in the state of Illinois to permit the students across the state, public educated students, privately, parochially, homeschool kids. JB Pritzker is standing in the way right now of allowing this to happen. So I was very interested to see how that referendum came about in Madison County. It passed with flying colors. They said yes. And I wish it would have said next to it, duh. But it didn't. I didn't write it on my ballot. I didn't want to invalidate my ballot. So we watched the Illinois primary results come in. And as you might have seen already, the governor candidate for the Republican Party, I would call it a mandate with over 50% of the vote totals coming in. Darren Bailey will be facing JB Pritzker once again in November, and we're very excited to have him on the show with us today. Darren Bailey, welcome back. Congratulations on your victory. The next battle starts now.
Well, thank you so much, Annie, and I want to thank your entire listening area for just the amazing support and turnout that they showed. We knew it was going to be downstate Illinois that was going to pull us through the primary, and just God bless you guys, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah, they're a strong show of support for you across the state. There are multiple people in the field that you faced off, and sometimes, it comes up that you don't get a majority of the voters, but you certainly come through with the win. You took over 50% of, at least in the last I checked, across the state. And I saw some people on Twitter talking about downstate versus not. And I put up a picture of the map. There is a corner in Cook County where Ted Dabrowski did take the majority there, but you're as north gets in the support that you were able to pull out of the electorate yesterday.
Well, that is, and let's not forget that, one of the radio talk show hosts was his basically campaign manager up there. So they were hearing from him every day and probably wondering why they weren't hearing from me because I wasn't invited. But that's okay. We knew that's how that would work. That's how it worked 4 years ago. And we are actually heading into the city of Chicago today. We just finished an amazing unity a breakfast. Republicans all across the state were there. It was filled to capacity. They had to add tables. Rick Heidner, one of the co-competitors, he was there. The other two were not, but it was an amazing program as we worked to, I told the people, I said, hey, I've been too divisive in the past. And right now today, this must stop. We have to work together. We have to work in unison to defeat JB Pritzker and just, Republicans. We've got the answers. We're business people, but also we've got to welcome independents. We've got to welcome Democrats who know that their party has left them behind. So we've got work to do. I've got work to do in Chicago, and Illinois is hurting. It's hurting much worse than it was 4 years ago. I'm a different person than I was 4 years ago. Illinois is under a lot more hardship than it was 4 years ago. So we have the perfect climate. We're going to put the work in, and we're going to earn the trust of the people up here in Chicago. And I believe that's going to be a recipe for a change in November.
Darren Bailey speaking with us, the victor last night in the Illinois primary, winning the Republican nomination for governor. He will face off against JB Pritzker for that governorship come November. So you have a lot of work to do. It's good to hear that is your motivation. You know that there is an effort that needs to be put forth, and you're talking about going to Chicago. What are you gonna do this time around to make it different than last time around? You saying you're going to Chicago makes me think that you feel as though that's the place where you can gain the most traction.
So, right, the rest of the state's going to be hearing my message. They know who I am. All over the state, our number one focus is voter turnout. I mean, let's face it. 2022, it would not, regardless of what you've been sold or what you've been told, it would not have mattered who the candidate was. The apathy in the Republican Party set in, and unfortunately, 43% of all registered voters were all that showed up to vote. JB Pritzker had spent $35 million in his mail-in balloting campaign, and he had the bottom third packed. I mean, it was game over before it started. Yeah. And so Republicans, we know that now. We know that we have to get out and reinvigorate people, help them understand why they must vote. Again, I think people get it more today than they did 4 years ago because, especially up here in these northern counties, they're financially pinched much more than their property taxes have went up at a quicker rate the last 3 years than ours have. So showing up, letting them know that, hey, I've got the experience in the state house. I know how this is done. I know what the problem was. I've sat and I've watched it. I've fought it. I've spoke against it for 4 years. lower property taxes. We can do this. We can begin to implement changes in the governor's office to make this happen. Working on utility costs. I mean, they should have. JB Pritzker and the General Assembly should have been working on this. You call a special assembly in order, and you give them the task of focusing on this. And again, JB Pritzker has to own these high utility costs that we're facing, and just overall cost in general. And safer streets. I mean, up here in Chicago, there's a vacancy of 1,600 police officers, and many 911 calls don't even go answered. I mean, it's unreal. And our schools are struggling all across the state, and they're struggling because of state mandates. JB Pritzker wants to spend $2.5 billion to give illegals free housing, free health care, and free food. Well, see, that comes out of the budget, and then when the fiscal year's up in June, all he has to do is say, "Whoop, schools and townships, I'm sorry, but I don't have enough money to give you your full allotted amount." That forces them to the table to increase levies and raise property taxes. So the schools, even though we think we're frustrated at sometimes what our schools can and cannot do, but in Chicago it is much, much different, and people are fed up. They feel trapped. I heard you talking right before I came on about the money that for our children and for our education budget, the $8 billion that's available. I just like to remind people that JB Pritzker hates President Trump more than he loves Illinois, because it is up to him. All he's got to do is work with the White House, and that money's ours. But let's also not forget the Invest in Kids Act that JB Pritzker failed to let get through, and that's a simple act that allows businesses and people to write donations, tax deferred donations, and to schools, especially it's all over the state. But some of that money goes to parochial schools, but much of that money goes to failing schools up here in Chicago, where parents can pull their children out and send them to alternative forms of education. And they tried for 3 years to get that bill. It sunset in 22, and he made sure that it did not pass, because if it doesn't pass, then that just simply gives our teachers unions more authority and more power to prioritize their desires in school instead of our students.
We're speaking with Darren Bailey, the nominee for the Republican Party to challenge JB Pritzker in November. You're talking a lot about the things that JB Pritzker won't do. And we as Illinois residents, we feel it. It's burdensome. It is a head scratcher quite often as to why we would allow ourselves to stay in the state and endure it. Many people haven't. I'm thinking about that moment in the State of the Union when the president said that the priority of the government should be the American citizen over the illegal immigrant. And the Democrats would not participate in an agreement on that statement. We know from what you're talking about right now some of the things that JB Pritzker is against or won't see through. What is JB Pritzker's purpose and priority in the state of Illinois as the governor?
Well, his purpose and priority is, first of all, turning Illinois into a socialist a roadmap, a socialist state, so that he can run for president in 28 and show California, Colorado, New Jersey, New York exactly what he's done. And if we allow that to happen, if we the voters allow that to happen, then this constitutional republic, we're in trouble. So that is what we are fighting to protect. That is the reason that this time around that Illinois is on the national radar. Illinois was not on the national radar 4 years ago. Cindy and I showed up in Aspen, Colorado to the Republican Governors Association, and I'm telling you, we felt like a rock star for about 15 minutes, because everyone there knew who we were. They knew that we took a six-way race with 57% of the vote, and then came that hard word, but we're going to focus on the swing states, and we'll come back to California and Illinois later, and later was 10 years away. And Annie, I'm telling you, everything is different today. And by the grace of God, I'm a changed person because of the 4 years that I've had. 7 months ago, this was not on the radar to run, but because of just life and living and thinking and contemplating, because of the tragedy, but just sitting home for literally almost 3 months with family and just soaking all this in, it made me it allowed me to reevaluate and think, wow, this is, I'd already announced by then, but did just realizing that, wow, things have to be different. They can be different, and they will be different. And when we show up and start sharing this with our friends in Chicago, they're going to wake up and realize that they need to cast their vote and or change their vote on November 3rd.
Darren, listening to you talk, I hear the passion in your voice. I've worked with you for years, and you've always been passionate about Illinois as your home. You've fought many different battles. You've served in the House. You've served in the Senate. You've run for governor before. You seem as though you've got a little bit. You've referred yourself, I think, as a changed man. How does that manifest itself in this election in a way that transcribes into more votes than JB Pritzker is going to get?
Well, I've got the work ethic, and
did we lose him? He's still here.
Like when Cindy and I get in an argument, I apologize. I said, "Hey, listen, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I didn't realize, Chicago loved that. I was trying to say that for a particular reason to help Chicago, but you're proud of your city, so I get it. So let's back up, and we know words hurt, and I understand that. I just spoke at the Republican Unity Breakfast where, I said, listen, I have been part of the divide before, and I'm sorry about that, but we can no longer do that. We've got to start working together. This primary is behind us, and when we leave this room today, we have to all be on the same page. No more infighting. We just will not tolerate that. And much like how I probably parented my kids, so I've got to live that by example as well. So we're going to do everything that we can to make the Republican Party stronger. And then something else that I probably had problems with in the past is welcoming the people that don't think like me. So that's got to change. Welcoming, like I said, independents and Democrats who feel like their party's left them behind. So.
Yeah, it's so refreshing to hear you say, Darren, and I think it's what a lot of people are looking to you now that I think there's a strong contingent of people who cannot stomach a vote for JB Pritzker again and may just not show up to vote. That's going to go your way as well. If there is a lack of inspiration to show up and cast a ballot for a third term of JB Pritzker here in the state of Illinois. But listening to you talk about Big Tent is inspiring, and I think it's what this party needs going forward. You and your running mate, Aaron Del Mar, who is from the Chicagoland area, I believe that's going to be a strong suit that you're bringing into this election as well. I had a conversation earlier with Ted Dabrowski. He was very conciliatory, still very passionate, of course, about the future of Illinois, as all of us are. You said you were able to have a unifying, I think it was breakfast earlier today with one of the candidates, and he said he's willing to do what he can to help support you getting across the finish line. Are you going to be able to use Ted Dabrowski's influence that he has potentially had in the northeast part of our state in order to get across the finish line?
Absolutely. So, Annie, I have not heard from him yet, so I'm looking forward to hearing from him. So, yes, he's a genius, and like they said, I've taken a lot of his messaging over the years, and I'm the one that ran with it and did something with it. So, I look forward to having his expertise and his geniusness of crunching these numbers. That's what he's good at, and he will be a vital part. The sheriff. Haven't heard from him yet either, but he will be a vital part of. He's passionate about law enforcement, and that's one of our pillars. So, and then Mr. Heidner, he was at the breakfast, so I was able to talk to him. He actually approached me, called me last night. We had an excellent conversation, and I know for a fact that he is interested in being involved. So, no, absolutely, the door is open, the seat is at the table, and I expect their help and support. And probably their involvement in the administration.
Oh, that would be fantastic. I love hearing that. Ted told me that he did make a contact last night, and you guys were not able to connect. So hopefully that will happen here very soon. It sounds like you're very receptive to that conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
And he was eager to throw his support, whatever he can do to help, because we all have to come together. And Darren, I got to tell you, I texted you this morning, and I wanted you to know anything I can do to help you here on the Annie Fry Show. You got the southern part of the state to show up for you in the primary, and we're going to show up for you again in the general. And I'm always here to do what I can to get Illinois back to a place of common sense. I'd like to see that in my lifetime, Darren. And you are our hope.
Thank you so much. The past is behind us, and the future is what we have to work together to make and unite, and I believe that we can do that. So thank you so much.
All right. Darren Bailey, congratulations on your win. JB Pritzker, next. Go get him.
God bless. Thank you.
You as well. God bless you. Darren Bailey, the nominee from the Republican Party, the candidate for governor to take JB Pritzker out of that position of governor. Mr. No Kings, JB Pritzker, would like a third term. It's kind of ironic, don't you think? We would like to see him not. And Darren Bailey is the horse in the Republican race that we have to bet on. It's the way it manifested. And I will say, if you look at the results across the state of the people who showed up, there is a strong support for Darren Bailey. And I look forward to throwing my full support behind his candidacy as well. All right, let's take a quick break. Ethan, Sports and Local next year on the Annie Fry Show. Looking forward to having a discussion with him on, let's see, I don't really want to talk about the WBC. Maybe we have to? I don't know. Ethan, Sports and Local, it's his decision. Next. Don't go away.
A lot of people are getting their air conditioners tuned up and ready to go for the summer, and we're getting a lot of calls of people saying they want a second opinion, to have us come out and requesting us to come out there and take a look at their air conditioners. They've been told that they need a new one, and the repair is air conditioner, and then repair it. If you're in that situation, please give me a call, because there is truly some opportunities here for you that we could save you lots of money, because I'm sure you're going to be shocked. We have the equipment that still works best for you with your budget. It's pretty much the best. It's what I would put in my home. It's what I would recommend. Give me a call. It's Bart Inman. One easy number, the easiest number in Missouri and Illinois. That is 314-293-2600. Or the online thing, and that is bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today, and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
This is Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates. You know, the doctors, or just the best doctors to see for your best vision in St. Louis. 314-966-5000, the doctors. They've treated more than 250 doctors. That's more than any other practice. Dr. Greg Birdie, Dr. Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Bersati, Dr. Andy Royer. 314-966-5000 is their phone number. 314-966-5000. Dr. Birdie, Dr. Malhotra are cornea surgeons and experts in diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye, dry eye, allergy eye, cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma, LASIK surgery. The Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates, experts. Call for an appointment today, 314-966-5000, or visit them online, youridoc.com, 12990 Manchester Road, quarter mile west of 270. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
The Annie Fry Show is St. Louis conservative.
Hold up. Check it out.
And now, Cookie the Clown.
Okay, good to know. Thank you very much, Ryan Wiggins. Ethan Sports and Local, sponsored by All Financial. And now we talk about the St. Louis Cardinals, who continue to near opening day. What are we now? 8 days? 8 days? It's
I
the
saw it.
19th.
Someone
Yep,
said
8 days away. Woo-hoo. By the way, go and check out the latest episode of the Lou Sports Talk podcast.
The Lou Sports Talk podcast.
On Spotify or Apple Podcasts, also on STL Sports Central's YouTube channel. Had my good friend Stephen Carey, son of Chip Carey, join us and talk a little bit of Cards baseball from Jupiter, Florida. So,
can I interject?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're going to listen to that podcast. Go subscribe to it to be nice to Ethan.
Yeah.
Subscribe. And then just
But you can
play it on
listen,
loop.
too.
Yeah, play it.
Yeah.
Listen to it. But I mean, like, support it. Support it,
If you
brother.
wanted to, you could listen to it all the way back to March of 2022. I mean, if you
Sure.
really wanted to. But I won't be offended if
This
you
is
don't.
a legacy podcast.
Yeah, something like that.
Doesn't that sound fancy?
It does kind of sound fancy.
Makes you sound old and weathered. Like Ryan.
Oh,
I didn't say good.
Poor Ryan.
I can't make fun of him. He had to go home.
Yeah, he's having a day.
He'll come back.
The Cardinals have set their starting rotation for the season, at least for the start of the season. It was announced this morning via the MLB transactions that Richard Fitz, who was one of the finalists for a final pitching rotation spot, he's being optioned to Memphis to start off the season. So the starting rotation will look like so. This is in no particular order. Matthew Liberatore, Kyle Leahy, Dustin May, Michael McGreevy, and Andre Palante. The new names to that rotation being Dustin May, who they signed via free agency this offseason, has had some very good points in his career, notably with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and has had a very good spring. I think the value of that deal that they signed with him is going to end up being very good, and I think it's going to be one of the high points of the season. The other one being Kyle Leahy, who was a bullpen piece last year, was one of the best relievers in Major League Baseball last year. Also led Major League Baseball in innings thrown by a relief pitcher. He is getting moved to the starting rotation. He actually threw today. The Cardinals won today 4-1, and he threw 5 shutout innings, struck out 6 batters. He looked really good. So there's some optimism about those two starting pitchers being moved to the rotation.
Who's their ace this year?
They don't know yet.
It depends. Well, I guess if you are defining ace as their best pitcher, it's probably Dustin May.
Okay.
Could be Matthew
I need you to
Liberatore.
write these names down.
It won't take long. You'll familiarize. But if you're going based off of like a true ace, like top tier pitcher in baseball, they do not have one. Right now.
I was gonna say I've always thought of ace as number one.
Yeah, which people would define it in different ways. So they also made another announcement today. Matthew Liberatore will be the Cardinals' opening day starting pitcher.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah, I think this is really cool. Just going back real quick, Matthew Liberatore was acquired by the Cardinals in the Randy Arozarena trade. And a lot of people were very upset about that trade in the moment because Arozarena went on to have he's still having a great career, but he shined very quickly in Tampa Bay, helped get them to the World Series, won the American League Championship Series MVP. And it put all this pressure on Matthew Liberatore, former first-round pick, that he had to be as good as Randy Arozarena was performing for the Rays. And his first couple of years in the majors were not very good. They were pretty disappointing. He had some struggles as well in the minors. And a couple of years ago, 2024, he's used mostly as a bullpen arm. He has a really good year. Surprises a lot of people and ends up making the starting rotation in 2025, and he showed some great signs the first half of the season. He gassed out a little bit in the second half, so that's going to be the next step for him, is trying to put together a full season. But I can't think of someone more deserving for an opening day starting pitching spot than Matthew Liberatore because of the pressure that he received from the fan base because of that Randy Arozarena trade. So I'm excited for Libby.
I have 2 questions for you. The first question is, can we do like once a week Ethan Sports and Local where I read to you random sports comments from X that I see and let you react to them?
Absolutely.
Because I think that would be fun.
I would love that.
How if I think something's really stupid, or you might say that's exactly right. People are on X, of course, criticizing everything all the time. So we'll just maybe hit you with what I consider the greatest hits of the week leading up. And then you can tell us why that person is the smartest man alive or the dumbest person you've ever met.
We can absolutely do that.
Second question. How good the Cardinals are is likely relative to how good the Central Division is. How good will the Central Division be? Do we still play more games? It's all that changed the last couple of years.
That changed in the
doesn't
last
really matter?
CBA, so it doesn't.
Although
really
I mean,
matter.
the way we are able to, dare I even say postseason in this conversation, but like it does matter how good.
You still play your division opponents.
That's stupid. I don't like it.
You still play them.
Can I tweet that and read it to you?
Yeah,
you can react
you can.
to it.
I can react to it. I can react to it right now. You still play your division opponents more than you would anyone else, but it's not nearly as much as you used to. So it used to be you faced them 4 times a year, I believe, at home and on the road, but there was very few matchups for the Cardinals against American League teams. Now you play every single team every year, and they lessened the division matchups every year because of that. So now you play every division opponent twice at home and twice on the road. So the Cardinals, fans were disappointed. They only see the Cubs now 2 series a year in St. Louis.
What place are we going to finish?
5
teams?
You're looking at a 4 or 5 spot realistically,
5
probably.
teams? 6 teams.
There's 5 teams. You're looking at the Brewers, and the Cubs being the favorites for the division. They'll be 1-2. The Reds are going to be 3, and then it's going to be a battle probably for the 4th spot with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
I saw somebody on X say that the Reds were going to win the World Series.
That would surprise me, but they did make the postseason last year. They
You did not laugh at me when I said that.
It would surprise me, but they do have a good young team, and they have added a couple of pieces. So they're going to be in the mix again this year for a wild card spot. I don't know if I see them on the level of the Cubs and the Brew Crew, but that's the crazy part about baseball.
What it sounds to me is the Central Division is not going to suck, but that we might.
Yeah, I would say it's top heavy between those 3 teams. There's not a 98 win team in there. You're going to have 3 teams that are going to be. It might be 90 games wins this division because you're going to have 3 teams that are really battling it out that are solid teams, but you don't have a Los Angeles Dodgers, a New York Mets in this division. No.
You guys had the New York Yankees playing on the TV screen out there in preseason, and I asked you if Aaron Judge was back at camp yet because it appears as though he needs to work on his hitting. And then our friend Daniel out there, I think, called him a fraud.
Dang.
And he said it. I mean, Daniel's great. He's a hard worker. He didn't say a lot, but he needed to get that out.
I have a lot of people that'll text me the same sentence regarding Aaron Judge.
Does it have to do with Steve Templeton?
He's not beating the allegations. And the allegations is that he is a low-leverage bat, and he has never performed in the big moment. Last night, or the World Baseball Classic being the most recent example in elimination games. I think he was like 2 for 12 with 6 or 7 strikeouts. It was not good.
Are you telling me that Mr. All Rise is a letdown?
He's really struggled in the playoffs, the World Series a couple of years ago. Yeah, All Rise, letdown. Yeah, that works. That works. I see what you did there. I like that.
Thanks. Nice. In true Ryan form, we talked about it.
Yeah, right. Yes, we did.
Oh, man.
More stories or no?
Well, maybe after the break if you can stay. I know you got a lot on your plate.
I'm here.
I felt, how I was like, the World Baseball Classic doesn't matter. I was watching the Illinois results come in, and I was just kind of bummed about the turnout. I was pretty happy with the results in Madison County, so I was a little pumped about that. Watching that game go, and it's a low-scoring game, of course. There's a home.
It was a really slow game.
It was a slow game, and there really was no glimmer of anything for the USA, and then Bryce Harper gets up. But, at that point, Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper and Schwarber and all of these guys had been up to plate where magic is made, and it was not.
No.
Over and over and over again. And then Bryce Harper, I over-celebrated that. I've never celebrated Bryce Harper
as much as I
did last night. You can go back and watch the Annie Fry Show live stream of me literally the whole time for 2.5 hours just scrolling New York Times election results, Madison County results. People were coming and commenting, and they're like, what about the school referendum in Will County? And I was like, let me see what I can find out for you. Sitting there, just mundane, Bryce Harper, and I'm like, I'm fist pumping, knocking the computer all over the place. It was fun. And then that was it. That was the end of the fun.
I went bananas when Bryce Harper hit that home run. And I was actually having car issues yesterday, so had AAA come and
He did that for you?
They were helping me out while
You sent
the
that
top
car
of the
down
ninth,
to AAA.
While the top of the ninth inning happened, I came back inside and we were losing. I was like, what did I miss?
I didn't even get to enjoy that. Ugh.
Bro hadn't walked anybody all WBC and then walks the first batter.
Horrible.
All right, let's take a quick break here. More with Ethan when we come back here on the Annie Fry Show. Don't forget to vote in our poll today. Do you trust President Trump? Yes. Yes, but you're nervous. No, but I used to, or no, you don't trust him. Annie Fry YouTube channel. Text us at 314-241-9797. Back in a minute. Home Shield, foundationrepair.com. Matt Hayes is waiting for your phone call. I think it's a smart phone call to make. If you've got foundation concerns, you have a solution after you make that phone call to 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900. Matt Hayes, he'll come inspect your situation and give you solutions that you can choose to use or say, okay, I'm glad I know that. I'll call you when I need you. Or you can say, can you start tomorrow? 314-271-9900. You got somebody who's a homegrown local here, family-owned business at Home Shield Foundation Repair. And when it comes to wet basements, whatever, how bad it is, if you've just noticed this for the first time, or if you've noticed it and you've been kind of, trying to not have to fork out the money or whatever, but it's gotten worse, don't let it get worse than worse. It can get really expensive then. Reach out to Matt Hayes at 314-271-9900. 314-271-9900 and tell Home Shield Foundation Repair you heard about them on the Annie Fry Show, 97.1 FM Talk. They'll be happy to hear that. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
You can feel the Clydesdales circling the field. Hear the stands come alive. Smell the hot dogs, the popcorn, and cold beer in the air. See the crowd rise as the first pitch hits the glove. And just like that, a new season begins. The countdown is on until opening day, and tickets start at just $49. Don't miss St. Louis's favorite holiday. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/opening day.
Hot matchup, colder drinks, only at Busch Stadium when the Cardinals host the Tampa Bay Rays on Sunday, March 29th. Fans will take home a stainless steel Cardinals tumbler presented by Coca-Cola and Quick Trip. Designed to lock in the cold and show off your Cardinals pride, it's the perfect companion for 9 innings and beyond. A practical addition to any Cardinals collection that'll keep you cool all game long. Tickets are available at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Nolan Gorman. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com.
The pressure on data centers has never been greater. Whether you're expanding capacity, supporting AI workloads, or building new facilities, Graybar works alongside you with the solutions, specialists, and logistics expertise you need today. We help you power performance every step of the way, so your operation is ready now. Yep, Graybar does that.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings, up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Wait, Corey from Air Comfort Service? What are you doing in my basement?
Standing behind our work.
It's 9 p.m.
At Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation, we take pride in our work. If you need heating service, no matter the time of day or night, we're here to help with 24/7 emergency service.
So, you're just going to stand behind my furnace?
Yeah, pretty much.
Can you hand me those paper towels then?
Absolutely. For heating service or HVAC maintenance, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. You voted in the YouTube live chat poll yet. I hope you have, but if you haven't, you got about 15 minutes to get that vote in. Tell us whether or not you trust President Trump. You can text us at 314-241-9797. Ethan, you said you had a very important text message that we received on the Annie Fry Show text line.
I can't even like process how great of a text this is. I got a couple. This one says, have we ever considered what meteorology was like before Steve Templeton? No, because he is meteorology. That's the first one.
It's very meta.
This next one says, bear with me here, Annie.
Okay.
Steve Templeton,
Mm-hmm.
what is there to not like about this man sent from heaven? I could name 10 reasons why he should be given the Nobel Peace Prize and a handwritten sentiment from every local resident from Bethalto to Wright City.
Okay.
However, due to breath constraints and my genetically high blood pressure, I will keep it to just 3. Number 1, those sleeves. When they are rolled, I'm locked in. He makes weather in Olympic sport. I'm sweating. Electrolytes are needed. I can't look away. Number 2, his tone. My heavily used Toyota Tacoma could be wrapped around my century-old front yard cedar tree, and I'd still be at peace from that soothing voice.
Oh, my goodness.
Number 3, this man risked his life for us. March 14th, 2025. On air, all caps. This brother with wings held the door open for his coworkers while simultaneously breaking down an FE2 tornado outside his Maryland Heights studio window. That's all for now.
Some Steve Templeton love from the Bro chat and now the Annie Fry Show chat.
There's some serious Steve Templeton love going on today.
If you guys probably do this too, but when I watch people do coverage like that and they are broadcasting, I look at them as broadcasters.
Oh, yeah.
You know what it's like to have to tap dance in this industry? I mean, how many times have we had guests that are supposed to be on or they don't call, or maybe we get our lines crossed, or maybe the internet crashes out right before they're supposed to go on a Zoom so that we can have the video component with it. I mean, all of this stuff happens all the time. Weather is, you're giving people the worst news you could possibly be giving people, but it's really important, so you got to take it super seriously. But you don't have any control over it. You're just the reporter of it.
Exactly. It's so on the spot, and I was the last one in my group kind of fascinated with this. But breaking storm coverage is absolutely fascinating because, like you said, it is all on the spot. You have no idea what's going to happen. And yeah, I think the unpredictability of it makes it really fascinating, and their ability to just kind of go wherever it needs to go is really interesting. So I couldn't agree more. I enjoy watching it. Yes, because it's fun, and all of my buddies all have fun with it. But seeing them be able to, like, in their peak times, like, do their craft is pretty cool.
Is there anything like that for sports broadcasters? I mean, there's certainly news coverage. We've had to do that before. War breaks out, or maybe there's some sort of, a national, like some sort of emergency or some sort of huge breaking event, and you're kind of tap dancing because you don't have the next piece of news. We'll be sitting here and we'll be waiting on a press conference to come out, and we only have what was given in the last 45 minutes or so. And so we have to tap dance. Do you just keep repeating the same things over and over again? Do you completely change subjects? It's difficult. Is there anything like that in sports? I don't know.
I can't think of anything like sports and news related, but I mean, just play-by-play in general, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, especially in fast-paced sports. I think a great time of year for it is right now. Like March Madness, the unpredictability of it, and the storylines.
Especially those first 4 days.
I would argue that March Madness is the perfect example of it. It's a little different. It's not news, but there is an unpredictability to it that leaves you having no idea what could happen next.
Did you guys fill out your brackets?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
Not yet.
I have to fill my.
For
I have to
Charlie?
fill Charlie's out. Still.
Yeah, my son, we have for my son's summer club team, when he was younger, we would do a bracket fundraiser, and now it's transferred over to his high school baseball team. And, you know, it's kind of like you motivate the players to go out and sell it, and then you get however many you get in.
Former winner here in the room, in the studio.
What's the best you've ever finished, Brad?
In a bracket? I think I got second one time in Charlie's bracket.
Yeah?
That's about the best I've ever done.
I was horrible last year.
You were second in the nation.
I was all
2 years
bought
ago.
in last year because I'm like, I was coming off
you
of
thought you were
the
good
great
at
run.
it.
I was
It's like
all
the
right.
second time you go out and golf
And then I
during
was
the year.
humbled so hard.
I'm good
I was
at
humbled
this.
so hard. So this year I did the opposite. I didn't watch any basketball, and I'm hoping that I'm going to have another historic run.
Sounds like good strategery.
Yep,
I didn't watch any basketball either. My brackets look like it.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break. The YouTube poll, we'll get the results with Ethan on the question we're asking you today. Do you trust President Trump? Yes. Yes, but you're nervous. No, but I used to, or no. Annie Fry YouTube channel. And your texts on the poll, 314-241-9797. Back in a minute.
For decades, Morgan & Morgan has represented hundreds of thousands of people at their hour of need. Injuries on the job, car crashes, medical malpractice, and nursing home abuse, Social Security claims, dangerous drugs, and dangerous products. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason, and no firm is even close. Then we got to thinking, what if we could prevent these terrible events before they occurred? So we built the AI-powered People Protector. Simply visit peopleprotector.com and type in the product you have questions about before you buy it. Children's toys and accessories, cars, drugs, products, you name it, we got it. With our success, we decided to pay it forward for all of America. Our way of saying thank you for your trust all these years. Morgan & Morgan, protecting America. And if you've already been injured, just visit us at forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
St. Louis, laugh it up with Jimmy Fallon live at the Factory on Saturday, April 11th. From national radio to sold-out comedy clubs, Jimmy delivers fast, fearless stand-up that hits home.
The only ones raising tough kids anymore. The redneck babies are going to take on ISIS. The hipster babies are going to battle the evil forces of gluten. You know what I'm saying?
Grab your friends and get ready for a night of laughs. One show, one night only. Don't miss Jimmy Fallon, April 11th at the Factory. Get your tickets now at thefactorystl.com. That's thefactorystl.com.
If you live in Missouri, have Medicaid, and need a caregiver, this message is important. Care at home is personal. That's why you may not want a stranger in your home to take care of you. You want someone who already knows you and your daily routines. With Freedom Care, you choose a trusted family member, a friend, or a neighbor. They will get paid after every shift to care for you, and it's 100% free to you. More than 70,000 people have already joined the Freedom Care family. Call your local Freedom Care. They'll check your Medicaid eligibility. Don't wait until a stranger shows up at your door. If you have Medicaid and need help at home, this care is available 100% free to you. Call Freedom Care now to see if you qualify. 314-343-1362. 314-343-1362. That's 314-343-1362.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Today's YouTube live chat poll. Do you trust President Trump? Yes. Yes, but I'm nervous. No. but I used to or no. We got the results coming for you up next. It's not too late to vote, though. Jump in that chat, vote in the poll, and leave us a comment telling us why you voted the way you voted. It is 2:51. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. From Collinsville to Chesterfield, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Andy Fry Show. I don't know. I gotta check with Ryan and see if he'll be back tomorrow. Hoping he is. He needed to take the day off today. Ethan been filling in, doing a great job.
Thank you.
Do you trust President Trump?
I do. I mean,
Don't have a reason not to?
I mean, I don't know. I guess there's some people out there that are surprised by all the stuff that's been going on, but I mean, he kind of told you that he was going to go in and shake things up, right? I mean, the whole message was, I'm doing this for my legacy. I actually want to change things, So I don't know. I'm not surprised, and yeah, I trust him.
Have you gotten impatient with the war yet?
No, he said it was initially expected to be between 4 and 6 weeks, and we're at 2,
and a half,
I think,
maybe
2.5. So no, it's going to take a little while. I mean, obviously, I want this to be as quick a process as possible, but I mean, anyone getting impatient when they are like 2 times ahead of schedule, I think seems a little bit silly right now, I guess.
What about you, Brad? Do you trust him?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I trust. Yeah. I mean, over his 2 terms, his first full term, and then what he's done so far, he's given me no reason not to. And like Ethan said, we're 2 weeks into 4 to 6 weeks. I will worry about how long the war is going on after the 6-week mark. That was the promise. If he doesn't make that, okay, then we can start wondering about it.
Aren't we kind of in that place where it's like we got to do the whole thing now? Like if you cut bait too soon, then why did we do the whole thing in the first place? You have to ensure that Iran is entirely immobilized in their ability to be terrorists. So if there's a missile left, we should bomb it. Isn't that, yeah?
That's kind of what it feels like. I mean, make sure, if you're doing it, then make sure that the threat is actually gone. Because if you don't go all in, and then, eventually they come back in however many years, then you're going to be going back and saying, okay, was it worth it? Was it worth the American soldiers that died? Was it worth the millions of dollars that you poured in artillery? And you don't want that to happen.
Grandpa Dave tweeted at me, I absolutely trust Donald Trump and his actions as president, and certainly with the Iran situation, get those guys before they get us. Also worthy of note, I have been followed on X by Sir Crunchwrap Extreme.
Massive, massive W.
That's a huge win.
You guys are both like, he's my fave.
That's actually
I don't know anything
Brad's other account.
That's my burner.
Are you going to have the results here in a minute?
Oh, they are ready.
Okay. Good grief. Go back and listen to what Jim Carafano said in that interview that we did with him. If you have any question about somebody waning support for the president, and you look at a guy like Jim Carafano, who is a great friend of the station and of this show, who we've trusted to have conversations, and boy, is that man right 10 out of 10 times, or is he right? I can't think of a time where we've had a conversation with him where he's been so off the mark. Asking him if he trusts President Trump. He blew through that question and endorsed him and his ability to handle this moment in time with the greatest of confidence. I really encourage you to go to the Odyssey app and listen to the Jim Carafano conversation we had at the beginning of the middle of the 1 o'clock hour. Results?
299 votes.
Give us one more vote. One more vote.
Do you trust President Trump? Only 2% say no, but they used to. 8% say they just flat out don't. 19% say yes, but they're getting a little nervous about it. And then An overwhelming majority, 71%, say yes, they do support and trust President Trump. We got to 300.
Oh, there it is. Boom. All right, 21% seem like they're kind of getting shifty or shaky in their support. So 1 in 5. I think that's fair. We appreciate you weighing in with us today. And keep it on 97.1 FM Talk. Mark Reardon Show next.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by LendSeek.
A little extra expense could prevent a great big headache if your college student runs into trouble during a spring break trip out of the country. Travel vlogger Mark Wolter says you should buy that overseas cell phone and data plan to avoid international roaming fees on emergency calls.
The problem is at 1 o'clock in the morning, those internet cafes, those places with free Wi-Fi are not open, and therefore they do not have an option of getting on there.
I'm Rob Hart.
At LendSeek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help. That's why we stand with you with our exclusive AI lending platform, connecting you to over 100 funders. If you've been in business for at least 2 years with a minimum annual revenue of $500,000, you can get up to $1 million in funding in as fast as 24 hours. No collateral, no prepayment penalties, no red tape. Apply today with no cost or obligation at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.